Students prayed to awaken even a sliver of talent. Yet the boy went beyond all limits. That night, he awakened a triple S summoning skill. By design, after slaying a monster, he can summon a replica of it. As his rank rises, the number of summons stacks without limit. He will command a monster legion, every unit a boss class, nearly unstoppable. In this world, an S rank alone guarantees elite college, power, and a 1,000,000 credit salary, destiny rewritten. Yet 3 hours ago, Zhang still worried about tuition. He crossed over from Earth 10 years ago. The Zhang couple raised him as their own, giving him a happy childhood. But this world is brutal. Dungeons ravage the globe. Firearms barely work on monsters. His adoptive mother was devoured. Soon after, his father fell too, leaving one final wish: take care of his only sister. When colossal beasts descended again, the couple died before Zhang Zhe and his sister. In that moment, he swore to never coexist with the dungeons. Humanity later learned, power gained in dungeons carries over to the real body. Thus, in the dungeon era, nations formed guilds of the awakened, and the war against monsters began to shift. Later, the Dungeon Association classified talents into 7 tiers, the lowest being D rank and the highest, triple S, a level spoken of only in legends. Human power was also divided into 5 stages. Only 5th stage awakeners could survive within high-tier beast domains. Today was Zhang Zhe's 18th birthday, and the moment that would decide his fate inside the dungeon. He stared at the ticking countdown on his wristwatch. Whether he could defy destiny would be decided now. Sparks of lightning burst from the watch, and the gate to the dungeon opened before him. The first thing he saw was a guide sprite hovering in the air. Every first-timer must choose a name and an outfit. Zhang Zhe had done his homework, his ID, Raksha, his request, a masked outfit to hide his face in this treacherous realm. The smoke cleared, and the outfit formed around him automatically. Then came the key ritual, the talent awakening. All he had to do was place his hands on the crystal orb. His only hope was for an A rank, enough to support himself and his sister. But the moment his palms touched the sphere, golden light erupted like a supernova. The brilliance devoured the entire space. When it faded, the sprite fell silent. Zhang Zhe's eyes filled with tears as he begged for an answer. Yet it wasn't hesitation, it was disbelief. "See, congratulations, you've awakened a triple S summoning skill," she finally whispered. Zhang Zhe froze. Triple S? That was supposed to be a myth. S rank alone meant elite academy admission. But triple S, this was divine territory. Even more incredible, his summoning skill could replicate any monster he killed, 1-to-1. At level 1, he could already summon 10 creatures. With growth, that number would expand infinitely. But creating an army wasn't his end goal. If each summon were boss class, he'd become a nightmare itself. Taking a deep breath, Zhang Zhe forced himself calm and opened his status screen. It labeled him a beginner, but at least all his stats were normal, except for his mental power, slightly higher than average, perhaps because he was a transmigrator. As the awakening ritual ended, the guide sprite slowly faded. Zhang Zhe stepped into the first layer of the dungeon, alongside hundreds of other beginners. The instructors of the Dungeon Bureau were responsible for explaining how to enter and leave the dungeon. Some awakened with A-rank talents, instantly becoming the center of attention. Others awakened the lowest D rank, falling to their knees and cursing the heavens for injustice. With a single shout from the instructor, the crowd lined up in order. Remember this, the dungeon isn't a game. If you die here, you die for real. And don't think this place is lawless. Liars and criminals are everywhere. Never trust anyone too easily. You're standing on the altar. To return to reality, this is the only teleport point. Soon it was Zhang Zhe's turn. He registered his talent, then moved on to choose a weapon class. Knowing how deceitful people could be, he hid his identity with a mask and claimed to be a weak D rank. The players behind him sneered, "Ha, another bottom feeder." Zhang Zhe selected a hardwood longbow as his starter weapon. The instructor warned, "Only the cautious survive here." Once the recruits left, 2 instructors sighed. Every year gets worse. Only 3A rank or higher this time. The rookies rushed out, foolishly eager to farm monsters. Meanwhile, Zhangze stayed behind at the training range, practicing relentlessly. He already had a plan to exploit a system bug to tame his first summon. But dozens of arrows missed their mark. He knew that unless his Bao mastery improved, the exploit would fail. There'd be no second chance in real combat. After thousands of shots, his technique improved dramatically. The final arrow whistled through the air and struck dead center. A prompt appeared. Bao mastery, LV.4, accuracy, 80%. Zhangze understood. No matter how extraordinary his talent was, true genius meant working harder than fools. That's enough, he muttered. Time to move out. Let's fill all 10 summon slots. The beginner's guide described 3 monsters on the first floor. Violent rabbits, fast but fragile. Lava turtles, tough but slow. And the floor boss Shadow Wolf, whose Shadow Ren skill delivers 5 rapid strikes and inflicts bleeding. Soon, a lava turtle spawned at the forest gate, sending newbies screaming in panic. Just as it raised a foot to crush them, an arrow came flying, interrupting its move. Hey, over here, Zhangze shouted. Come on, lava turtle, let's play. The creature's aggro bar filled instantly. In the next second, Zhangze turned and sprinted toward the altar. The altar's stone pillars could strike nearby beasts. He planned to use the altar's magic barrier bug to capture his very first summon. Just as Zhangze expected, the lightning that struck the lava turtle didn't kill it outright. It left the beast at critical HP, allowing him to finish it with an arrow. When the turtle's body faded away, a low-grade spirit soul orb dropped to the ground. That meant he'd scored both loot and a personal kill. In the dungeon, soul orbs come in 3 tiers, high, mid, and low. High tier adds +1 stat, mid adds +1, while a low-grade orb like this one adds only +0.1 to spirit, but it's worth 1,000 credits. The real test was next. Could his summoning skill actually work? As Zhangze pressed the summon button, the fallen lava turtle revived before his eyes. He felt an invisible bond form between them, his very first summon. Even as a monster, it obeyed him with absolute loyalty, as if connected by fate. Then, distant screams echoed from the forest. A violent rabbit was battling 3 rookies at once. Worse, a lava turtle lumbered up behind them. Surrounded on both sides, they were doomed. But suddenly, the turtle halted at a voice command. On its shell stood the masked player Raksha, making the 3 freeze in awe and envy. They forgot the danger. The rabbit lunged and smashed one man's face with a single punch. The other 2 drew weapons to fight back. But the rabbit leapt backward, howling into rage mode. It was 3 against 1, until 2 more rabbits joined in from the shadows. The fight was lost before it began. Not far away, Zhangze sensed a new, summonable creature approaching. The 3 rookies bolted for the altar, sprinting faster than the rabbits themselves. When Zhangze turned, he saw not 1, but 3 violent rabbits charging. His blood ran cold. His lava turtle, too slow to retreat, was slammed repeatedly. Tail attack now, he shouted. The tail hammer struck, landing a critical hit, 10 times stronger than his arrows. Smart choice. Picking the turtle as his first summon was genius. But all 3 rabbits now locked onto the turtle. Damn it, I need to distract them, or it'll die, he muttered. The turtle's HP dropped below half, triggering rage mode. Another swing, damage up by 50%. Zhangze seized the moment, killing 1 rabbit. The second was sent flying, and 3 rapid arrows finished it midair. The third punched the turtle's head, dealing massive damage. Zhangze's eyes blazed. You dare hurt my first summon? You're dead. 3 arrows launched at once. Critical hit, but not lethal. At the brink, the lava turtle leveled up, HP doubled, stamina full. Its tail came crashing down, crushing the rabbit instantly. Since a summon's kill counts as its master's, all 3 rabbits dropped spirit soul orbs. A system prompt appeared. Summon 3 violent rabbit replicas? Rise. Zhang Ze commanded. 3 rabbits materialized, identical to the originals. For slots filled, perhaps the floor boss was finally within reach. The next morning, all newcomers received an urgent notice. Every player on the first floor of the dungeon was ordered to gather at the altar. To lead the raid against the floor's boss, the instructor had invited a top-tier female warrior from the 5th layer. She walked in with elegance and grace, her perfect curves outlined beneath a spotless battle suit, her emerald eyes glowing with solemn brilliance. Whispers spread among the crowd. She was none other than Lu Yueying, last year's S-Rank prodigy, admitted directly to Qingdao Martial Academy. The Shadow Wolf may be just the first-floor boss, she said coldly, but don't underestimate it. Join the squad I've created. Anyone acting on their own, don't blame me for what happens. Zhang Ze opened her profile. Most of her stats were hidden. He couldn't help but wonder who was stronger, this woman or his summons. In truth, his real goal was to capture the Shadow Wolf and add it to his army. But under Lu Yueying's lead, the expedition felt more like a class trip than a battle. Any monster that appeared was instantly vaporized by her S-rank skill. Stop staring, move out, she barked. Her overwhelming strength shattered Zhang Ze's hopes. Stealing the boss from her would take a miracle. When they reached the Shadow Wolf's territory, a deep growl echoed through the mist. The boss was about to spawn. Fall back, Lu Yueying ordered. That's the spawn point ahead. A claw tore through the void, and a wave of killing frost surged from the portal. The Shadow Wolf's gaze radiated oppressive might, its mist spreading thick enough to blind everyone. Yet within the fog, Lu Yueying remained calm and composed. With the wolf's speed buff active, rookies couldn't track its movement at all. Fear of the unseen was their deadliest enemy. The Shadow Wolf lunged from the blind spot, jaws wide open. Lu Yueying sidestepped at lightning speed, dodging the fatal bite. Her blade flashed. Battle was decided in a heartbeat. The sword's motion flowed like a deadly waltz. Her S-rank ability, Aurora Slash. The frontline rookies stood awestruck, witnessing true power for the first time. Meanwhile, Zhang Ze quietly opened the skill description window. Aurora Slash delivers 3 consecutive strikes, each hit doubling in damage. When the Shadow Wolf's body dissolved into smoke, piles of spirit soul orbs dropped to the ground, all of which Lu Yueying claimed. The rest of the rookies, having taken part, received the key to the 2nd floor of the dungeon. After the battle, Lu Yueying opened the team channel to assure her 5th floor allies she was safe. But just as she prepared to return to hunt another boss, the Shadow Wolf's portal reignited behind her. The aura pouring out was several times colder than before. Another respawn? It hasn't even been an hour. In an instant, the killing intent became tangible. She already knew what it meant. As expected, it was an elite-class Shadow Wolf, 5 times stronger than the previous one. Everyone, evacuate now, she shouted. You'll only slow me down. Zhang Ze looked back, worried. Could she really handle that thing alone? Even Lu Yueying wasn't sure. But she was the only one capable of stalling it long enough for the others to escape. The elite wolf fought like its lesser version, only faster, deadlier, and tougher. Her Aurora Slash hit for barely half the previous damage. How high is its defense? She thought. The wolf landed, twisted midair, and unleashed Shadow Rend, a 5-hit combo. Lu Yueying wasn't fast enough. She was bleeding, losing 1% HP every 10 seconds. Meanwhile, Zhang Ze gritted his teeth. An elite boss like this, if I can capture it, I'll rule the 2nd floor. After a grueling exchange, Lu Yueying's stamina ran dry. While the wolf still had half its health left, she dodged the next strike, readying another Aurora Slash. But agony shot through her body. A red prompt appeared, bleeding too severe. Skill cannot be cast. If I die here, I die for real, she thought, despair filling her fading eyes. The next Shadow Rend hit her squarely, tearing through her armor as the beast lunged for the kill. The proud heir of the Lu family. Was this her end? Whip. Whip, whip. 3 arrows pierced the air, interrupting the wolf's strike. It was Zhang Zhe. His reckless taunts drew the boss's full aggro. Wait, that's Raksha, the rookie archer. He's insane. He'll get himself killed. Zhang Zhe knew it too, but fortune favored the bold. He needed open ground where his summons could fight freely. Just as the wolf pounced, he triggered his summoning skill. 3 violent rabbits and 1 lava turtle appeared in a flash. Across the field, Lu Yuing bled heavily, nearly collapsing. She used a healing potion, praying help would come in time. Then a voice chanted a spell. The staff of a healer glowed with green energy. Healing light wrapped around her like spring wind. Princess, what are you doing here? The entire 5th floor squad's here. I just ran faster. You're insane, Yue Ying. The Dragon King roared. You can't fight an elite boss alone. Where's the boss now? Asked the old god. Lu Yuing's eyes widened. A rookie drew it away. We have to help him now. The team froze. If they went now, they might only find a corpse. But Zhang Zhe hadn't given up. He ordered the lava turtle to tank and the rabbits to attack from 3 sides. Their combined assault limited the wolf's mobility. Then he had the turtle strike with a tail hammer combo. The damage matched Lu Yuing's Aurora Slash. Yet he still underestimated the beast's defense. The Shadow Wolf countered with Shadow Rend, striking all 4 summons. None survived the hit. From the flank, Zhang Zhe panicked. This damage was insane. 1 violent rabbit suddenly hit level 2, fully restored, and swung the tide back. Same plan. Lava turtle tanks. Rabbits go all out. After a fierce exchange, 2 level, 1 rabbits couldn't hold and went down. If I don't finish it now, I'm dead, he thought. The level, 2 rabbit used speed to split the elite boss's focus. The turtle's tail hammer landed perfectly, right on the wolf's weak spine. At last, the elite shadow wolf went down through sheer attrition. The 2 surviving summons clung to a sliver of HP. Loot rained in, 4 times mid-grade spirit soul orbs, plus a C-rank crescent necklace, plus 5 spirit, and a C-rank wolfbone blade to sell for his sister's treatment. Zhang Zhe patted the rabbit that turned the fight. No risk, no reward. Rise, my elite shadow wolf. The summoning circle flared brighter than ever. Status: HP 3000 def, 1500 ATK, 300 plus. On floor 1, that's basically unstoppable. Night had fallen. Time to return. Morning classes awaited. Minutes later, Lu Yuing's squad reached the battlefield, the ground scarred by combat. The Dragon King searched 4 times. No sign of Raksha. Guilt tightened Lu Yuing's voice. I'll see Instructor Lu Wei tomorrow. Raksha must be his student. If something had happened, she would take the blame. Back in reality, Zhang Zhe tallied the haul. 61 low-grade and 25 mid-grade orbs. The rest went on the auction site. He tested 1 strength orb first. The guide said stat gains sync to reality. Time to visit the school dojo tomorrow. Next morning, the smell of breakfast woke him. His sister looked worse. He needed the artificial kidney rental money fast. He checked the auction. Everything sold overnight. After fees, 198,000 credits. A few more runs might cover the rental. Bringing breakfast, his sister guessed he'd return late because the awakening wasn't ideal. The little girl tried to comfort him. Bro, we'll figure out the rental. Please don't go back. It's too dangerous. He paused. Tens of thousands. How would she get it? She stayed silent. At the door he said, you focus on school. I'll handle the rental. At class, the awakening boom had everyone buzzing. Li Si groaned to Zhang Sanman. I rolled a trash D rank. I'm doomed. You? Zhang Sin scratched his head. B rank. Li Si exploded, bro. We agreed to be losers together, and you became a genius. Just then, a senior student walked in with a homeroom teacher. One glance at her graceful curves, and Zhang Zhe instantly recognized her. Lu Yuing. His classmates whispered, she looks even prettier than she did in the dungeon. Lu Yuing's purpose was clear. She was searching for her savior from last night. Hearing that, Zhang Zhe froze and stayed silent. Exposing his 3S rank identity in reality would only invite disaster. In the end, Lu Yueying left in regret, but she was sure Raksha wasn't dead. Everyone in the class was present. The moment she walked out, Zhang Zhe's chubby deskmate blurted, "I know who saved her." Zhang Zhe's heart skipped. "I was wrapped head to toe." "How could he tell?" The boy shrugged. "I just saw his ID, Raksha." Everyone ran away, but he ran back. Zhang Zhe forced a laugh. Maybe he panicked and went the wrong way. The fat guy flushed. "Forget it. I'm partying tonight, taking 2 girls into the dungeon. You in?" When Zhang Zhe said he had work, the boy sighed. "Your sister needs money again." "Huh? If it gets bad, I'll help farm for you." "My ID's handsome fatty." After class, Zhang Zhe headed to the school dojo, partly to test his strength, partly for his janitor shift. Inside, a group of flatterers cheered. "Bro, how? Your punch hit 507 pounds. That's 7 above Qingda's admission line. And an A-rank talent on top of that." Zheng Hao smiled modestly. "Plenty stronger than me. Goddess Yueying's the real deal. I'd settle for half her power." Zhang Zhe eyed the gauge. 507 pounds. Not bad. He threw his own punch. The numbers froze at 497 pounds. He blinked. "I used to max at 390. One strength orb gave me that much boost." His phone buzzed. A message from his sister. "Bro, I'm studying at a friend's tonight. Don't wait up." He frowned, clearly a lie. What's she hiding? Still, rent came first. That night, Zhang Zhe re-entered the first floor of the dungeon. Opening his summon panel, he admired 10 empty slots, 7 still unused. Before heading to floor 2, he'd better fill them all. In a quiet clearing, he raised his hand. "Come out, my little ones." A smile touched his lips. Just how much fortune could this elite shadow wolf bring him on floor 1? Suddenly, a lava turtle burst from the ground. The elite shadow wolf, with 1500 defense, couldn't resist, charging ahead like lightning. It unleashed Shadow Rend, a 5-hit combo. 3 strikes were all it took to crush the target. Within an hour, Zhang Zhe's army of 7 lava turtles and 2 violent rabbits stood ready. Just as he prepared to enter floor 2, he spotted a player named Handsome Fatty fleeing with 2 girls. He froze. "That's Wang Yang, my deskmate." Turns out Wang Yang had been showing off inside the dungeon, drawing the attention of real-world criminals. These thugs often use their virtual identities to kidnap wealthy heirs, demanding massive ransoms from their families. Trying to impress the girls, Wang Yang bragged about his mansion and luxury cars, only to fall into their trap. The enemy activated Muddy Swamp, freezing him in place. A sharp axe pressed against his neck. Wang Yang didn't dare move. But he gritted his teeth and refused to give up his family's number. They all say that at first, the thug sneered, "Until we take a hand off." Then whiz, an arrow sliced through the air, nailing the man's wrist. "Who the hell?" He screamed in pain. Zhang Zhe stepped from the shadows, his ID glowing. "Raksha, you scum. Come at me if you've got guts." The thugs roared and boosted their agility, sprinting after him. Good, Zhang Zhe thought. Wang Yang's trapped in the swamp. He's safe for now. If I lure them into the canyon ahead, none of them will get out alive. The only exit lay behind him. "You're dead, kid," one thug snarled. "We'll drain your family dry." Zhang Zhe asked coldly, "If someone dies here, no one outside knows, right?" The leader smirked. "That's right, rookie. No witnesses, no problem." "Good. Thanks for confirming." Zhang Zhe pressed his hand to the ground. "Come out, my little pets. It's showtime." 10 summoning circles lit up, surrounding the gang. 7 lava turtles, 2 violent rabbits emerged in formation. The criminals thought they'd stumbled onto a farming zone, never realizing their lives were already his. The next moment, black mist rolled out, swallowing everything in sight. In the fog, a pair of crimson eyes glared, radiating killing intent. The elite shadow wolf emerged, its roar echoing like thunder. "Impossible. How can elite spawn here?" The criminal screamed. Zhang Zhe's voice was calm but cold. "Didn't you say no one would know if someone died here?" Terror struck them all. They bolted like frightened rats, sensing death closing in. The shadow wolf moved like a demon general. its fangs and claws delivering divine judgment on the kidnappers. Any thug who tried to run was smashed back by the lava turtle's tail hammers. The violent rabbits blocked the only exit, cutting off all hope. "You brought this on yourselves," Zhang Zhe said, "and your loot. I'll gladly take it." Among the drops was a rare Berserk rune, granting his summons 100 seconds of rage mode. "Nice," he smiled. "This'll come in handy." He turned toward the portal leading to floor 2. But someone stopped him. Wang Yang, his desk mate. "Raksha, I knew you'd make it. You saved my life. Please, take 1,000,000 as thanks." Zhang Zhe almost choked. "1,000,000? This fatty's loaded. If it weren't for the risk of exposing himself, he'd gladly take it." "Forget it. See you around, and stop showing off your money." Wang Yang raised a hand solemnly. "From now on, Raksha is my idol." Soon after, Zhang Zhe arrived at the altar of floor 2, a vast underground cavern. Even D-rank mercenaries charged 100k here. "Fine, I'll clear it with my summons." According to the dungeon guide, 3 types of monsters lived here. First, vampire bats, low attack but life-stealing. Second, poison spiders, whose webs immobilize players. And third, the boss devourer frog, massive, armored, and capable of shockwave, stunning anyone nearby. Looks like floor 2's no joke. The next second, he got caught in a web and instantly understood its danger. If my mental stat weren't higher, I'd be dead already. Playing it safe, he summoned reinforcements. 2 violent rabbits appeared first. The instant they did, webs ensnare them tight. The spiders spat venom in follow-up. The poison wasn't instant. It drained HP over time. His first floor summons couldn't endure that. Zhang Zhe barked the order. All units attack. The full squad charged, smashing through the spiders and finally clearing the area. At first, Zhang Zhe thought trading 2 violent rabbits for 1 poison spider was a huge loss. But when he tried summoning it, he realized its stats were higher than both the rabbit and lava turtle combined. On his way here, he had only seen 2 spiders. He thought the spawn rate was low. The next second, 2 vampire bats dropped from above. Reacting fast, Zhang Zhe summoned the Shadow Wolf King and a lava turtle. Only then realizing, the monsters weren't scarce, just hidden. What followed was pure chaos. During the brawl, he noticed something insane. When the bats were near death, 1 bite restored their HP completely. "Focus fire 1 at a time," he muttered. Summoning his poison spider, Zhang Zhe discovered a new tactic. Its venom attack perfectly countered the bat's lifesteal. Together, the spider, wolf, and turtle coordinated strikes, finally taking down both vampire bats. The fight had cost him several weaker summons, but his elite survived. Rise again, vampire bats. 2 identical copies re-emerged from the summoning circle. Now Zhang Zhe finally had what he needed to face the floor 2 boss. But when he reached the spawn zone, the place was packed. A gang stood guard holding wooden signs. "Boss Devourer Frog is claimed. Stay quiet. Anyone wanting and had to pay 10 magic soul orbs to join." Zhang Zhe smirked. "If I take the boss myself and summon it later, no one can stop me." So he lied. "I've got 10 gold bars at home. Help me clear this floor and get the key to floor 3, and they're yours." The gang bought it. He was let in without paying a single orb. Inside sat a hulking brute of a man, muscles like armor, eyes like fire. His name, Money Superman. The system labeled him Skilled Fighter. Zhang Zhe recalled Lu Yueying's title, Skilled Swordsman. Anyone with that prefix must be 5th floor level or higher. Yet when he finally saw the boss, no way, that thing's as tall as a building. Money Superman stripped off his shirt, flexing. "Everyone back off, I'm pulling aggro." He unleashed his A-rank skill, Flame Rush Fist. 10 punches per second, each with a 50% crit chance. The air trembled. The Devourer Frog lost 1/3 of its HP in an instant. It roared, spewing a massive fireball, but the cast time was too long. It missed. After a minute, the cooldown ended. Money Superman launched another fiery combo. Zhang Zhe watched intently. When his skill ends and the boss drops to a 1/3 HP, that's when I strike. Zhang Zhe tightened his grip, his mind sharp as a blade. To draw the boss's aggro, he had to hit the Devourer Frog's weak point, dead center. The arrow fired thwack. It pierced the frog's eye. The creature bellowed in rage, unleashing shockwave, blasting Money Superman across the cavern, leaving him stunned. One of the thugs shouted, "Stop him. If he kills the boss, the loot's all his." Despite the boss being at 1/3 HP, Money Superman smirked coldly. That rookie archer? Fine, let's see how he dies trying. Zhang Zhe wasn't panicking. He had a plan, and a few tricks left. He just needed to drag the boss further away. What a clown, a thug sneered. Soloing a boss? He's dead meat. In the next heartbeat, Zhang Zhe raised his hand high. SSSRank summoning. Activate. Vampire bats, lava turtles, and poison spiders erupted from glowing portals, shaking the entire floor. Now, Zhang Zhe had a real shot at claiming everything. The thug stared, dumbfounded. How the hell did he bring first-floor monsters here? Money Superman roared, summoning. I've never seen a skill like that. Under relentless blood-sucking and venom attacks, the Devourer Frog staggered into a weakened state. Zhang Zhe drew his bow, 3 arrows in rapid fire, ding. System message, Lord Boss, Devourer Frog defeated. Hundreds of glowing soul orbs exploded across the ground. An unimaginable fortune for any ordinary player. As Zhang Zhe gathered them up, Money Superman and his crew surrounded him. Kid, hand over the loot, or you die here. Zhang Zhe didn't flinch. His smirk deepened. He still had 3 cards left to play. Money Superman raised his weapon, ready to strike. Suddenly, a calm voice came from behind the crowd. A player stepped forward, his ID read Heaven's Net. Zhang Zhe recognized it instantly. An inspector from the Dungeon Authority. Low rank, but big power. These guys could report corruption straight to the top. One of the thugs whispered nervously, "Boss, if he exposes the bribes we gave Chief Gao, we're screwed. Maybe we take him out too?" At Money Superman's shout, every thug in the boss room raised their weapons, closing in on Zhang Zhe and Heaven's Net. Heaven's Net lifted his staff calmly. "Don't worry, Brother Raksha. I'll protect you." He added under his breath, "My talent's rare. Once this is over, I'll get promoted fast." Then he cast Frost Ray. A burst of freezing light struck hard, dealing heavy magic damage and locking enemies in place for 10 seconds. Money Superman, also an A-rank talent holder, knew what that meant. 60 seconds of cooldown before the next spell. "Attack!" He barked. Lao San lunged forward, swinging his thunderhammer. But the so-called mage reacted like a trained warrior. Heaven's Net kicked, hard, sending the hammer flying. "Did you really think I'm some nerd with glasses?" He sneered. Top graduate of Tongchuan Martial Academy. Hearing more inspectors were on the way, Money Superman gritted his teeth. "Fine, I'll finish this myself." Lao San's eyes flared. He still had his support skill. Magic resistance that a golden aura surrounded Money Superman, boosting his confidence. Heaven's Net unleashed another Frost Ray. Money Superman didn't dodge. It hit squarely, but the glow of resistance absorbed every bit of magic damage. As he charged with Flame Rush Fist, Heaven's Net shouted, "Raksha, run, run." Money Superman laughed darkly. No one leaves alive. His flaming punch exploded forward. Suddenly, a lava turtle burst from beneath the floor, shielding Zhang Zhe with its body. From its shell, a hidden poison spider sprang up, shooting webs that bound Money Superman tight. Zhang Zhe stepped forward. "Inspector, let us handle the rest." He pressed both palms to the ground. The summoning circle ignited. "Come forth, my trump cards." The Shadow Wolf King emerged in a swirl of black mist. And beside it, resurrected from death, the Devourer Frog roared back to life. The onlookers froze. They thought Zhang Zhe could only summon weaklings, but this was on another level entirely. Money Superman's eyes twitched. There was no escape now. "Fine," he growled. "I'll take both of them myself." Zhang Zhe raised a hand. The 2 boss monsters howled and charged together. Money Superman used his sharp combat instincts to dodge the Shadow Wolf King's deadly strikes with perfect precision. He countered instantly, unleashing Flame Rush Fist, 10 blows in a second, slamming the Devourer Frog and tearing away a third of its HP. Using smooth footwork, he danced around the frog's long-cast fireballs, avoiding them with ease. The moment his skill cooldown ended, he fired another fiery combo, carving another third off the boss's health bar. To him, this was routine, just killing the same boss all over again. Zhang Zhe frowned. So this is the kind of monster I'm dealing with. Lao San snorted, "Kid, summon 100 times if you want. My boss has killed that frog more times than you can count." Zhang Zhe's eyes hardened. "Then I'll end this. My final card." He pulled out a talisman from his pocket. Heaven's Net, standing beside him, froze, feeling an ominous chill. Zhang Zhe tossed the rage sigil toward the Shadow Wolf King. "Go wild. Kill them all. I'm tired of the noise." The talisman fused into the wolf's chest. A crimson surge exploded outward. Its eyes turned blood red, glowing like burning coals. Every strand of fur stood on end, roaring its dominance over the battlefield. For the first time, Money Superman felt fear. Real, primal fear. His men trembled. The scent of death filled the air. The wolf's drooling jaws opened wide, its stare full of hunger. Money Superman turned to run, but before he could take a step, his pupils shrank in terror. At Zhang Zhe's command, the Shadow Wolf flashed forward, appearing right before him, its claws slicing through the air. Shadow Ren had evolved. No longer 5 slashes, but 10. Each blow struck twice as hard. Any player below the kill threshold was instantly executed. Money Superman fell, eyes wide with disbelief, because death here meant death in reality. System message: Money Superman has been defeated. The rest of his gang met the same fate, shredded, devoured, gone without a trace. The Shadow Wolf feasted under a crimson haze. When silence returned, Heaven's Net looked at Zhang Zhe's ID. Raksha, he felt a chill deeper than fear. Such power. If this talent isn't controlled by the state, one day it'll destroy it. Just then, heavy footsteps exited over. "If you ever change your mind, call me." As Zhang Zhe took it, the portal to dungeon floor 3 began to hum. Heaven's Net suddenly held out a hand. "Brother Raksha, wait. No matter how strong you become, never forget you carry Daxia blood. Don't ever betray your country or your people." Zhang Zhe smiled faintly. "Relax. I'm one of Daxia's sons. That's my honor." With that, he stepped into the light of the portal and vanished. He reappeared on a stone altar surrounded by a vast primeval forest. The number of players here was far smaller than before. The dungeon guide listed only goblins, shield bearers, and stone throwers, but no mention of a boss. "So the third floor's monsters have human form now," Zhang Zhe murmured. Checking the time, he realized 8 hours had passed. Time to head back. Returning home, he found the apartment pitch dark. "Zhang Feng, you asleep?" He opened his sister's door, empty. She said she was studying at Pan Pan's place. Why isn't she back yet? Pulling out his phone, 15 missed calls. His heart sank. He called back. "Zhang Zhe, it's bad. Your sister, Zhang Feng. Something happened at the Yunning nightclub. Hurry." Without a word, Zhang Zhe maxed out his agility stat and sprinted full speed through the streets. At the entrance at Garbarte, "You can't go and dress like that." Zhang Zhe's fury ignited. "She took that job to pay for the artificial kidney and lied to me just to help. Out of my way." He roared. "Whoever touched my sister, I'll tear them apart." He burst forward, the power of the dungeon surging through him. Inside the club, a balding man barked angrily, "Hey girl, shouldn't just ask for a drink. Why are you playing hard to get?" He sneered, flicking a card between his fingers. "What, not enough money? Here, 10 grand should make you more obedient." The card clattered to the floor at Zhang Feng's feet. "Coming here to work and still pretending to be pure? Don't make me laugh." Zhang Pan quickly stepped in front of her friend, speaking softly, "Sir, my friend really can't drink. Please, let me take her place." But Wei Zhonghai struck first. His hand cracked across Pan Pan's face, sending her flying. He pointed at Zhang Feng and roared, "If you don't drink with young Master Chun, You're not leaving this room alive." The laughter around them was cut short when the doors slammed open. Zhang Ze stormed in, fury blazing in his eyes. "Touch my sister," he growled, "and I'll make sure none of you walk out alive." As he reached the bald man, Zhang Ze didn't strike. Instead, he bent down and picked up the bank card. The man smirked, thinking he'd won. "See? I knew it. Poor folk always bow to cash. Your sister acting innocent? What a joke." Zhang Ze's expression turned cold. With a flick of his wrist, he hurled the card like a blade. "Buy my sister with a card? In your dreams." The golden card sliced through the air, sharp enough to cut flesh. Suddenly, a dark shadow flashed in front of the old man. Fingers snapped shut around the card, stopping it midair. It was Chun Xiao. Chun Xiao's move gave the bald man new courage. He barked, "Get him! Break that punk's legs!" But before anyone could act, the club owner herself stepped out, Sister Jiang. Beautiful, elegant, yet her voice was sharp as steel. "I like to see who dares make trouble in my city." Wu Tiansheng folded his arms and sneered. "Sister Jiang, stay out of this. Give me some face. Let's pretend tonight never happened." Jiang's lips curved into a cold smile. "Boss Wu, I've tolerated your arrogance out of business courtesy." Her tone dropped. "I see. But if you dare bully my people again, then crawl back to Jiangbei where you came from." Wu Tiansheng's smile vanished. He pointed at Zhang Feng. "That girl, she's coming with me." Jiang stomped the floor, leaping forward like lightning to block him. But a faster blur shot past. Chun Xiao's fist, blazing with dungeon energy, smashed in her chest and sent her flying. Someone gasped, "That's Chun Xiao, the only S-rank talent Jiangbei's produced in 10 years. Hearing that, Jiang froze, unable to breathe. Wu Tianqing smirked. "Now you see it. This is Jiangbei's power." His guards rushed toward Zhang Feng. But before they could touch her, Zhang Ze's body vanished into a blur. Less than a second later, every guard stood frozen in place, unable to move. Chen Feng watched the boy with a playful grin. Zhang Ze stood in front of his sister, his tone sharp. "Let's see who dares to touch my sister." Chen asked with rising interest. "You too, a domain adventurer?" Jiang Jie stared, shocked. "Kid, how high is your agility stat?" "That speed's insane." Chen's agility was already 11, far beyond normal humans. Smirking, he said, "Name's Chun Feng, senior from Longhu High in Jiangbei." "You?" Zhang Ze calmly replied. "Senior from Tianfeng number 5 High." Zhang Ze. "Anytime, anywhere." Realizing they were the same age, Chen's fighting spirit flared. "Then let's have a little match, shall we?" Zhang smiled faintly while shielding his sister. "I'd rather not. If I hit you, you might die." A bottle flew past his face. Zhang's eyes darkened. "You sure you want to fight me?" Chen's voice carried arrogance. "No one leaves without my say." Jiang Jie whispered, "Careful, kid. That guy's strength is at least 800 kilos. Zhang turned to his sister gently. "Xiaofeng, step aside. Once I'm done, we'll go home." Chen had searched all over Jiangbei for a worthy rival, but none matched him, until now. With a roar, Chen unleashed his full power, a 1,000-kilogram punch that shook the air. Zhang didn't back down. He moved like lightning, relying on speed to counter brute force. Zhang Ze's punch landed with 800 kilograms of force, enough to push Chun Feng back a single step. "Too bad, Zhang Ze," Chen sneered. "That's all you've got?" But Chen didn't realize those blows were just feints. Zhang Ze was saving his real speed for the kill. To him, Chen was nothing more than a brute relying on raw power. In the next instant, Zhang Ze countered precisely, his punch vibrating through Chen's arm, leaving it numb. The three women watching were stunned. The polite young man turned out to be hiding such power. "What's wrong, Chen Feng?" Zhang asked calmly. "Can't lift your arm anymore?" Chen gritted his teeth. 3 months from now, at the National Martial Exam, I'll get into Qingda Academy, and I'll make you beg for mercy. Zhang chuckled. "Funny. Maybe we'll be classmates. Come find me then." The simple comeback shattered Chen's pride. He turned and left the club in shame. As Zhang Ze prepared to leave with his sister, Boss Lady Zhang called out, "Hey little brother, if you don't mind, come upstairs. Let's have a little talk." The siblings had just reached the second floor. The boss lady served a few appetizers, then slid a check for 50,000 across the table, her way of saying thanks. That amount alone could cover his sister's artificial kidney rent for a whole year. Combined with the domain loot, they'd be fine for 2 years. Zhang Jie spoke frankly. Zhang Zhe, I saw it myself today. That man's had issues with Wu Tianqing and his Tianxing group. That's why he sent Chun Feng to cause trouble here. This money is just my gratitude for your help. Zhang Zhe nodded. Understood. If Wu Tianqing causes problems again, just call me. If there's nothing else, I'll take my sister home. Outside, his sister apologized softly. I'm sorry, but Sister Zhang's really kind. The pay's good too. Zhang Zhe frowned. I don't care how much she pays. You're not coming back here. She giggled despite his anger. But, brother, you were so cool when you fought. Zhang Zhe sighed, patting her head. Cool, huh? Go to bed. You've got school tomorrow. The next day, as soon as class ended, his desk mate Wang Yang ran up crying. Bro, I almost didn't make it out alive. If it weren't for Lord Raksha, I'd be dead by now. Lord Raksha, his ultimate idol. What he didn't know was that Raksha had been right beside him all along. Just then, a senior blocked Zhang Zhe's path. Zhang Zhe, you're the one cleaning the gym after school, right? Zhang Zhe suddenly remembered. He'd forgotten to reset the power meter at the gym. Could someone have seen the result? He sighed and admitted, yeah, I clean the place after school. Zheng Hao's tone turned sharp. Then did you see who used the power tester? Zhang Zhe stayed calm. Sorry, I didn't notice. Without another word, he hurried off. Zheng Hao watched him leave, suspicion flashing in his eyes. Could that insane power reading have been him? He clenched his fists. No way. I can't let Zhang Zhe steal that Qingda Academy spot. There's only one slot for our school. After class, Zhang Zhe got home just as the news broadcast a warning. An armed fugitive was loose in Tianfeng City. Xiaofeng, he warned, I'm heading into the domain to train. Don't go out these days, it's not safe. Soon, he was back in the third layer of the domain. Opening his summon list, Zhang Zhe couldn't feel happy. Even with the elite Shadow Wolf King and Lord-level Devourer Frog, too many of his small summons had died. 5 slots were empty. He needed to fill them fast. The third layer guide offered little info, only that goblins ruled this place, split between melee and range types. To know their true power, he'd have to face them himself. Suddenly, a desperate cry for help echoed through the forest. A team of goblins, 1 melee, 1 ranged, was chasing 3 players. The melee shield goblin's single strike shattered a warrior's defense, while the ranged thrower hurled stones with terrifying speed. The 3 melee players were completely overrun, fleeing for their lives. Zhang Zhe happened to witness the scene. 1 strike from the melee goblin shattered a warrior's shield while the thrower rained stones from afar. Watching 3 fighters flee in panic sparked his urge to tame them. He ordered the Devourer Frog to attack before the goblins could react, launching a sudden fireball that caught the shield goblin off guard. Then, Zhang Zhe summoned the lava turtle to block its path. To his surprise, the goblin raised its shield and deflected the hit. Wait, do the monsters on the third layer actually have intelligence now? He muttered. Before he could react, the thrower goblin used the opening to hurl its stones. 3 quick throws, and even the lava turtle's thick armor couldn't save it. Zhang Zhe quickly commanded the Devourer Frog to counter with another fireball aimed at the thrower. The blast struck true, triggering a critical hit, dealing a massive 450 damage in 1 shot. Yet the goblins still clung to life. Let's finish this, Zhang Zhe said, summoning the Shadow Wolf King for pursuit. But the moment the wolf appeared, the thrower goblin turned tail and ran. Zhang Zhe froze. You gotta be kidding me, it's running away? He summoned his level 3 Berserk Rabbit to chase it down. Let's see who's faster. Meanwhile, Zhang Zhe, the Devourer Frog, and the Shadow Wolf King cornered the shield goblin. Flames and shadow strikes rained down, finally ending the goblin's resistance. Zhang Zhe raised his hand, activating his SSSRank summon. Rise, he said coldly. Let me see how strong you really are. Sure enough, the summoned shield goblin looked exactly the same as it did when alive. According to the data panel, its stats were almost on par with an ordinary Shadow Wolf King. Both its attack and defense were outstanding. No wonder it was a Tier 3 monster. Just as Zhang Zhe wondered why the Violent Bunny hadn't returned, a pop-up appeared. Violent Bunny has been slain. The next second, a rush of footsteps echoed behind him. The escaped throwing goblin had not only healed its wounds, but returned with hundreds of reinforcements. Zhang Zhe froze, eyes wide in disbelief. He quickly recalled all his summons, sprinting toward the altar at full speed as hundreds of goblins chased him, eager to tear him apart. The throwing goblin cut in front, trying to block the way, but could only watch helplessly as Zhang Zhe slipped into the altar. Zhang Zhe thought he could capture a few goblin kings, but this time it clearly wouldn't work. Before retreating, the throwing goblin even flipped him the middle finger, then reluctantly led its troops away. Unaware of the truth, other players joked in the public chat, claiming Zhang Zhe must have stolen the Goblin King's wife. Later, Zhang Zhe reflected that if he just prevented any goblin from escaping, he could avoid being surrounded. Zhang Zhe's pupils suddenly contracted. How could I forget that summon? He muttered. He quietly followed behind 2 goblins through the forest. As expected, they were moving in pairs, one melee, one ranged. Time for a new strategy. Zhang Zhe summoned the Lava Turtle and Shield Goblin to tank the hits, while the Devourer Frog and Shadow Wolf launched a surprise strike from the shadows. Once the Shield Goblin was taken down, the Throwing Goblin would always drop to low HP, and the moment it did, it would try to run for reinforcements. That's when his secret weapon came into play, the Poison Spider. Its web trap made escape impossible. Leading his summons forward, Zhang Zhe taunted, "So you run, call your buddies, and even flip me off? Fine. No skills, just normal attacks. Beat this bastard to death slowly." After summoning the fallen, throwing goblin back to his side, Zhang Zhe was stunned to see its attack power nearly matched that of an elite Shadow Wolf. No wonder it killed his lava turtle so fast. Creatures this strong. I need more of them. Then, with all his summons in formation, Zhang Zhe repeated the same ambush tactic 3 more times. Each time, the poison spider turned the tide of battle. As the last goblin fell to the ground, Zhang Zhe finally filled all 10 summon slots, with 2 bosses, 1 poison spider, and 7 goblins. The team was complete. Now he could finally see what the 3rd floor boss looked like. When he reached the Goblin Fortress, he saw tents and guards stationed everywhere. Going in solo would be almost impossible. Just then, a player named Death's Kiss appeared, claiming to be an S-Rank Awakener. He was rallying 100 newbies for a free boss raid. Zhang Zhe instantly recognized the scam. The Magic Domain Bureau was too busy to interfere, giving these frauds room to operate. Feeling pity for the gullible rookies, Zhang Zhe watched as Death's Kiss approached him. "Hey, Archer bro, want to join? It's totally free. All drops go to whoever lands the kill." Zhang Zhe politely declined, choosing to move alone, unaware that this choice just saved his life. He slipped toward the weakest point of the fortress wall. "Come on, my pets," he shouted, summoning all 10 creatures. "Let's carve a bloody path." With his summons covering him, Zhang Zhe pushed deep into the outer camp, using the Devourer Frog's wide area attack. He looted piles of magic soul orbs. The drop rate here was insanely high. According to the map, the boss's tent was just ahead. But before he could advance, screams echoed from inside. The Goblin Warlord was slaughtering everyone. Players cried for help, but one by one they fell. Only 10 survivors remained, completely surrounded. Zhang Zhe squinted. Weren't those the rookies from the 100-man raid? And where was their so-called S-rank leader? Moments later, the goblin boss crushed the last of them, its guttural laughter filling the tent. That's when Zhang Zhe realized Deathkiss was never an S-rank awakener, but a con artist who lured newbies to die so he could return and pick up their loot. Even low-grade magic soul orbs were precious, but this time, Zhang Zhe would claim them first. Just as Zhang Zhe reached for the loot, A dagger suddenly flew out of the shadows, forcing him to stop. Could Death's Kiss still be nearby? The sudden noise enraged the surrounding goblins. An intruder! Kill him! They roared. Zhang Ze quickly activated his summoning skill. Come on, my goblin bros. Number 1, number 2, number 3, block them. As for the goblin warlord, Zhang Ze thought, maybe he could take it down amidst the chaos. He drew his bow and summoned the poison spider, charging straight at the boss. The spider cast its web bind, creating a brief distraction. Zhang Ze then summoned shield goblins 4 and 5 to launch a flanking strike. But the goblin warlord roared, insects! All of you are insects! A single whirlwind slash instantly killed both goblins. Gritting his teeth, Zhang Ze summoned the devourer frog and 2 throwing goblins. All ranged units, fire everything you've got. A storm of projectiles filled the air, but the boss blocked with dual blades, cutting the damage in half. Damn it, Zhang Ze cursed. Apart from the frog's fireball, every physical attack was useless. Meanwhile, stray, throwing goblins were still attacking from behind, and his shield goblins were barely standing. He hesitated. Should he retreat and cut his losses? Suddenly, a dagger glowing with death energy pierced through the air. Ugh! The blade stabbed deep into his chest. Zhang Ze stumbled back, bleeding. How the hell did he get past the barrier? Could it be that the bastard had been hiding here all along? Death's Kiss licked his blade and grinned. Still alive after my backstab? Impressive. My skill, stealth, keeps me invisible as long as I don't attack or get hit. But thanks to you, I lost my soul orbs, he sneered. So now you die. Zhang Ze was now surrounded on all sides. Even his last melee goblin was slain by the boss. His HP was flashing red. One more hit and it was over. Then an idea flashed in his mind. A perfect 2 birds, 1 stone plan. While Death's Kiss was still gloating, Zhang Ze summoned his poison spider, the web shooting point blank and landing perfectly. But Death's Kiss only laughed. You think binding me will save you? The boss isn't even aggroed on me. Zhang Ze grinned broadly. I never planned to run. I was planning to take your corpse. With a single command, all his summons were recalled. The boss's hate would immediately recalculate. If Zhang Ze sprinted out of the boss's sight line, the aggro would naturally snap to the nearest target, Death's Kiss. By the time Death's Kiss realized he'd been set up, 2 cleaving blades were already falling. But midway through the swing, the boss's aggro target vanished. Death's Kiss had activated stealth. He swore through clenched teeth that once he escaped, he'd tear Rockshot to pieces. While the boss staggered in confusion, Zhang Ze reappeared. The hidden Death's Kiss panicked. Why is he back? Zhang Ze smiled, amused. I knew you'd go stealth. Want some help? Poised and lethal, he loosed an arrow aimed low at the boss. Miraculously, it slipped through a gap and struck Death's Kiss straight in the heart, ripping him out of stealth. As Death's Kiss tried to make sense of how he'd been exposed, the goblin warlord felt a tremor. The intruder's back? It only knew to swing its sword, wildly hewing at the intruder. For a moment, the web bind wore off. Death's Kiss needed 5 more seconds to re-enter stealth. But Zhang Ze fired another web bind, nailing Death's Kiss again. He spat, "You mother! I'll kill you." Zhang Ze taunted, "I don't even have to see you. I just watch my web. You like watching rookies get bound and slaughtered, right? I'm just returning your favor. Why so upset?" Arrows rained down. Zhang Ze forced Death's Kiss out of stealth once again. With both blades raised like a guillotine, he struck down, ending Death's Kiss's lifetime of cruelty. Before dying, the man hissed through blood, "Even dead, I'll make you suffer." His soul shattered, his body falling beneath the goblin warlord's blade. In the magic domain, death means real death. He brought this upon himself. No mercy needed. Zhang Ze then activated his summoning skill, releasing all remaining summons and preparing a new strategy to face the boss. Among the loot from Death's Kiss were dozens of soul orbs and a strange pair of white silk gloves. Equipping them granted an additional 50 points of attack power. Zhang Ze knocked an arrow and fired to test it. Even with the extra power, his shot couldn't pierce the boss's monstrous physical defense. He sighed, awkwardly muttering, "Well, that's embarrassing." The boss let out an enraged roar, unleashing its skill, Whirlwind Slash. The terrifying slash unleashed a sweeping physical blast across the area. Both sword-wielding goblins were instantly taken out, just as the goblin commander's strike was about to land on Zhang Zhe. The poison spider's web shot out and wrapped around the goblin's ankle, causing the deadly swing to miss right in front of his face. The spider fired another web, binding the goblin commander for a full 10 seconds. During those 10 seconds, every ranged summon poured out their strongest attacks. Two blades were no match for the storm of assaults. A faint smile of victory curved at the corner of Zhang Ze's lips. Under the relentless flames of the fire-swallowing frog's magic, the goblin commander's HP dropped to near zero. Only 9% left. One last wave would finish the fight. But suddenly, the web restraint snapped apart with brute force. Still, the next fireball had already reached the boss, growing huge in his eyes. There was nowhere to run. The explosion shook the entire dungeon. The goblin commander's health bar was finally wiped out by the summons. After countless hardships, Zhang Ze, with his SSS grade summoning art, cleared the third layer of the demon realm all by himself. In the next second, the boss's throne suddenly cracked open. Zhang Ze hadn't expected that the portal to the fourth layer of the demon realm would be hidden here, and defeating the boss dropped a massive haul of soul orbs. As expected of a boss, even high-grade soul orbs came along for the ride. With a smirk, Zhang Ze activated his summoning skill. "Stop pretending to be dead. Get up." The third-floor boss, the goblin commander, reappeared with exactly the same stats as when he was alive. Of course, facing Zhang Ze now, it didn't dare show any anger. Every cell in its body trembled in submission. Zhang Ze patted the commander's head with a grin. "From now on, you're one of my crew." With that, Zhang Ze's summoning list now contained 3 boss-tier creatures. The Shadow Wolf had the lowest stats for now, but as an elite monster, once leveled up, it might even surpass the fire-swallowing frog. "I'll fill the remaining 5 slots with goblins later," he thought. "For now, I should head to the 4th layer of the demon realm." He added silently, "If I can fill my roster with goblin lords, I might just become unstoppable in the lower zones." But just as Zhang Ze was about to step into the teleportation gate, 5 assassins suddenly appear behind him, shouting for him to drop his weapon and surrender immediately. "I said drop your weapon. Now." Each of them bore the insignia of the Demon Realm Bureau on their chest. Zhang Ze froze. "Wait, do they think I'm Death's Kiss?" The leader, a spiky-haired man, barked, "Where did you take the adventurers who joined your team? We received reports that someone's been scamming newbies under the guise of free power leveling. 3 cases this year, with hundreds dead." Zhang Ze was about to raise his hands and cooperate, when one of the FBI agents suddenly stepped forward and said firmly, "He's not the criminal." "Rakshasa, my brother. What a coincidence. We meet again." So it really is Heaven's Eye from the Discipline Committee. He had been promoted to section chief, only because Zhang Ze took down Money Superman. All thanks to Raksasa's doing. Heaven's Eye turned to his team and explained, "The criminal's ID is Death's Kiss. I know this man. My own ID is Rakshasa." Zhang Ze then recounted everything he had witnessed from beginning to end. Everyone was stunned. Death's Kiss had a stealth skill as his innate talent. No wonder he was so fearless. Using free power leveling as bait, he had scammed countless newbies, committing 3 crimes this year alone and causing hundreds of deaths. The Bureau had been desperate to catch him. Zhang Ze said calmly, "You'll never see him again. I executed him on the spot." The committee members were shaken. Death's Kiss was an S-rank awakened assassin, known as the Expert Killer. To prove it, Zhang Ze opened his kill list. The name Death's Kiss shone brightly on the screen, something that could never be faked. From that day forward, the name Rakshasa would spread across the halls of the Demon Realm Bureau. Zhang Ze chuckled. "It was nothing, just a small favor. If there's nothing else, I'll be heading to the 4th layer." The portal's about to fade, but Heaven's Eye stopped him in his tracks. His tone grew serious. "Rakshasa, there's one more thing you should know. Death's Kiss belonged to a dark organization inside the demon realm. They call themselves Dawn, righteous in name, but rotten underneath. We've been trying to infiltrate them for years with no progress. Now that you've killed one of their members, they'll come for you. For your own safety, why not join the Bureau? Zhang Zhe shook his head as he walked toward the portal. No thanks. I'll watch my own back and keep an eye on Dawn. Heaven's Eye clenched his fists. This guy had rejected him again. Fine, tough guy. One day I'll make sure you join us. When Zhang Zhe stepped into the fourth layer, he was stunned to find hundreds of players gathered around the altar. The sight before them was rare and unsettling. A bystander shouted, "Why is the Demon Realm Bureau sealing off the altar? The monsters aren't even cleared. My boss will find me. Who's going to pay for that?" Zhang Zhe frowned, annoyed. Great, the Bureau again. An officer barked back. We already told you. The fourth layer spawned a death zone. Step outside, and you won't even know what killed you. Another player muttered, Yeah, right. Just admit you want to hog all the monsters. The words death zone triggered a memory. Zhang Zhe rummaged through his pack and found it. The Death Zone invitation, the pass he'd looted when he killed Money Superman. Outside the barrier, an FBI-like officer explained, It's true. A death zone appeared on the fourth layer. Most of you probably haven't heard of it. There's no record of it in the Demon Realm Guide. A death zone is basically a pocket dimension. Its monsters are nothing like the ones from this realm. It appears randomly on different layers. Even though it's showing up here on the fourth, the difficulty inside is far higher. That's why we sealed the gate. It's too dangerous. Please understand. Just then, a hot-headed player started mouthing off inside the altar. The agent sighed and opened a small gap in the barrier. If you want to go out, be my guest, but don't say we didn't warn you. The loudmouth laughed, swaggering out. What, you think I'm scared? The fourth layer mobs are mine. His laughter echoed as he vanished into the fog. The agent turned back. Anyone else want to apply for exit? A second later, screams tore through the air. It's mutating. The monsters are mutating. The loudmouth fell to his knees, body twitching, eyes rolling madly. A dark stain spread beneath him, the stench turning everyone's stomach. The FBI agents advised everyone not to log into the fourth layer for at least 3 days. Wait until the death zone completely fades before farming there again. Seeing what happened to the loudmouth, most players instantly hit the log out button. Zhang Zhe did the same. Meanwhile, on the 22nd layer of the Demon Realm, a knight stood tall, drawing his sword without fear. In front of him loomed a minor monster, the six-eyed abyssal. He stomped the ground and unleashed the warrior's ultimate move, Blade Draw Slash. The monster barely raised its scythe before being cleaved in half. Every motion from the knight was smooth and precise. The creature dropped a glowing purple high-grade soul orb. Then, a system alert popped up. Death's Kiss has been slain by Rakshasa. The knight chuckled coldly. So someone dared to touch one of Dawn's own? Rakshasa, huh? Interesting. Just then, a massive zombie beast spawned nearby. Even alone, the knight showed no fear. Back in reality, after logging out, Zhang Zhe received a message through his sister Zhang phone. His cousin Zhang Panpan had a job for him. High risk, high reward, she said. If you're in, meet me at the location. She led Zhang Zhe to an old warehouse that looked like a temporary hideout. Cousin Lu Kai, this is Zhang Zhe, the one I told you about. Lu Kai greeted him with a smile. Panpan says you've got skills. Interested in joining our team? Zhang Zhe blinked in confusion. Team? I don't even know what you people do. Panpan crossed her arms, her tone calm but serious. We're going to the Fallen Zone. Zhang Zhe froze, his expression filled with shock. The Fallen Zone, that's what people called the cities swallowed by the demon pits. In recent months, countless cities had fallen, overrun by monsters from the demon realm. Though abandoned by humans, those ruins were rumored to hide immense treasures. Antiques, gold, even priceless paintings. Many rich collectors, obsessed with ancient art, posted bounties online, offering absurd sums for anyone brave enough to retrieve those works. We're all here for the same reason, Lu Kai said with a grin. Money. As the saying goes, fortune favors the bold, replied Tai Gang, the burly newcomer. I'm in. Let's do this. Zhang Ze had accepted a mission worth 3 million credits to join their team and explore the Fallen Zone. He needed the cash to pay for his sister's artificial kidney rental, so he chose to risk it all. Together with Lu Kai's crew, he set out toward the neighboring Fallen City. Their target this time, a rare calligraphy scroll from the Five Dynasties era. The artifact was said to be inside the Jiangdong Museum. Before departure, Zhang Ze absorbed most of his soul orbs, hoping the new power boost might save his life if things went south. Strength 14. Agility 15, he murmured. If I run into any pit monsters, I should be able to hold my own now. Cities turned into fallen zones were surrounded by 1,000-foot walls built to contain the creatures. Those ruins had long been declared forbidden to mankind. When Zhang Ze and his team scaled the wall, the devastated cityscape spread before them, silent and lifeless. Lu Kai patted Zhang Ze's shoulder. Your Pompon's friend. Stick close to me and make sure I stay alive. The five entered the dead city. The path was eerily smooth, no monsters in sight. Old 8 muttered to Lu Kai, once this job's done, ditch the rookie. Dead weight's just trouble. According to the map, the ruins ahead were once the Jiangbei Museum. The main gate was buried in rubble. Luckily, one of the locals on the team knew the area well. Guided by memory, he found a hidden side entrance still intact. Old 8 cracked his knuckles, his demonic power flaring. Step aside. With a thunderous boom, the pile of rocks exploded under his fist. Old 8's got 12 points in strength, Lu Kai explained. He's the strongest among us. Zhang Ze sneered inwardly. 12? I'm an archer, and I've already hit 15. That's when they realized, somehow, their 5-man team had become 4. They had expected monsters lurking in the dark corners. Yet when they entered the gallery filled with ancient scrolls and antiques, the room was eerily empty. The boating on the Spring River scroll? Nah, that's not it. What about this one? Zhang Ze asked. Gift to Prince Jun. Is this the right piece? Lu Kai pulled out his phone, comparing the photo carefully. Yeah, that's the one, he grinned. 3 million credits, right in front of us. They gently stored the scroll inside the pack. Just as they began eyeing a few more paintings to grab, Zhang Ze froze. Tai Gang was gone, vanished without a sound. Everyone out, Lu Kai barked. This place is crawling with danger. Get out while we still can. None of them noticed the pair of glowing crimson eyes watching from the ceiling. A faint rustling sound caught Zhang Ze's ear. He turned sharply. Boom! The ceiling exploded, dust raining down like ash. Lu Kai's pupils contracted. Shit, a monster! We actually found one. And it's a second-tier beast. None of them were even first-tier humans. Still, Old 8 charged forward, roaring. The monster moved faster than thought. With a sickening crack, both of Old 8's arms were shattered. His 12 points of strength meant nothing before the creature's power. The beast grew fiercer with every strike, its fangs bared, its roar echoing through the hall, a death sentence for every human in its path. Zhang Ze's head buzzed, his thoughts racing. He quickly pulled out a dead chicken from his pack, something he prepared just in case. With all his strength, he hurled it toward the monster, praying it might buy them a few seconds. The second-tier beast only turned slightly, distracted for a heartbeat. It wasn't enough. The others couldn't escape in time. Ah Huang drew his pistol and fired wildly at the creature. Old 8 yanked the pin from his grenade, ready to take it down with him. Lu Kai, take care of our families, he shouted. Lu Kai covered his face, guilt tearing through him. He was too weak, utterly powerless to help. Grabbing Zhang Ze by the arm, he dragged him toward the exit, desperate to save at least one of them. They burst out of the museum at last, only to freeze at the sight before them. That monster wasn't alone. Surrounding the museum were 4 of them, all second tier, all hunting. Lu Kai shoved the scroll into Zhang Ze's hands. Zhang Ze, take it. Go. Trust me, I'll sell it. I'll make the money. And I'll look after Pan Pan. I promise. Lu Kai pulled out his S686 shotgun, his eyes burning with reckless hope. Maybe he could blast the second-tier beast into a sieve. But the pellets barely pierced the monster's fat, bouncing off its hide like sparks off steel. He kicked off hard, dodging a massive punch that shattered the floor beside him, and scrambled to think of something. Anything. Sliding across the debris, he dove into the monster's blind spot. Click! He bit the pin off a grenade, then hurled it straight at the creature's skull. The explosion burst into dazzling fire, hope in the shape of flame. But as the smoke cleared, that hope turned to horror. The beast still stood, unscathed, baring its fangs. Liu Kai turned, stunned, just as the monster's hand closed around him. Like tossing trash, it flung him aside. Boom! He crashed into the wall, blood spilling from his lips, body limp and broken. Regret came too late. The monster's claw was already descending toward his chest. And then, Zhang Zhe moved. The moment the claw struck, he dashed forward with 15 points in agility, blinking in front of Liu Kai in a blur. He clenched his fist and swung upward at the towering beast, 10 times his size. Fist met claw. A thunderclap roared through the hall. With 15 strength, Zhang Zhe unleashed a ton of force, sending the monster flying. Liu Kai stared, speechless. Zhang Zhe, your strength. How was that even possible? You can actually fight a second-tier monster? Zhang Zhe flexed his wrist, calm and focused. I'm fine, but going head-to-head isn't smart. If all 4 of those beasts join the fight, we won't stand a chance. Liu Kai nodded, panting. Relax. Monsters in the pits follow one rule. They never interrupt another's hunt, unless that beast gives up first. But just as Zhang Zhe was about to use his speed to dance around the beast, a slender foot suddenly stepped onto his back. From thin air appeared a woman, an agent, with a rose tattoo curling along her arm. Her fair skin glowed faintly pink under the lights, her leather suit tracing every curve of her body. She moved so fast she left shimmering afterimages, the kind that made it impossible to look away. Despite her graceful frame, her body could unleash over 2 tons of force in a single strike. Her movements were pure art, each dodge perfectly timed, each motion precise and fluid. Then with one sharp kick from her long, powerful legs, the second-tier beast's skull shattered, like a walnut crushed in a single blow. Kid, she shouted, her voice sharp and commanding. Take my friend. Get her out of here. Zhang Zhe blushed furiously, words catching his throat. At that moment, a roaring off-road truck skidded around the corner, tires kicking up dust. The woman stood her ground, holding the monsters off so Zhang Zhe could climb aboard. After smashing the last beast aside with a spinning kick, she vaulted into the truck in one fluid motion. Go! Full speed now. The engine screamed as the truck accelerated, tearing past the monster pack in a storm of gravel and smoke. Zhang Zhe looked out the back window. The beasts were still chasing, their roars echoing like thunder. The driver's face went pale. Boss, if those things reach the city walls, if they hit Tianfeng City, it's going to be a disaster. The woman hesitated for a moment. She knew the plan made sense, but how could they lure the monsters away? Then her eyes flicked toward Zhang Zhe. An idea sparked. I've got it. Kid, stop staring. If you don't want to die, get up here and help me. She shouted, popping open the car's sunroof. From her belt, she pulled out a mysterious pack. Half kneeling on the passenger seat, she tossed the bag to Zhang Zhe, her leather suit stretching as she moved, making both men in the back seat forget to breathe. Hey kid, Liu Kai barked. Quit gawking and start throwing. Don't let her save you for nothing. Inside the bag, flash grenades. Dozens of them. Zhang Zhe pushed the sunroof open wider. Side by side, he and the woman hurled the grenades behind them. Blinding bursts lit up the night sky, dazzling the monsters and buying them precious time. The driver called out, Kid, what the hell are you doing in the fallen zone? Trying to get yourself killed? Before Zhang Zhe could answer, Liu Kai cut in. We didn't do anything. Just came to pay respects and ran into bad luck. The woman clearly didn't believe it, but she said nothing that, if anything, her smirk suggested admiration. Kid, she said, her tone softer now, you're sharp back there. I like that. But listen, don't ever come back to the fallen zone again. Unless you're a demon realm elite, you'll just lose your life and your money. Zhang Zhe couldn't argue. He just nodded, embarrassed. She drove them back to the city wall, and Zhang Ze half-carried the wounded Lu Kai back into Tianfeng. But amid all that chaos, the priceless painting from the museum was gone, vanished without a trace. After dropping Lu Kai at the hospital, Zhang Ze started home. Then, by accident, he bumped into a man carrying a painting case. The guy was bundled up head to toe, but his build was hauntingly familiar. Zhang Ze turned sharply. His psychic sense whispered the truth. It's him. He froze. That honest, simple-minded Tai Gang had been the traitor all along. Zhang Ze wondered, where was the man headed with that painting case? He followed at a distance until Tai Gang slipped into an empty alley. Tai Gang fished out his phone and whispered into it. "Boss, are you in position?" In that instant, Zhang Ze realized the truth. This coward would sacrifice brothers he'd fought with for over a decade just to claim the bounty alone. Two figures stepped into the alley, a scar-faced bald man and a well-dressed high society boss. "Fat man, did he bring the item?" the scar-faced man asked. Tai Gang, his face slick with shame, produced the case. "Here it is, gift to Prince Jun." The boss unrolled the scroll and inspected it closely. It was genuine. "You sure have a black heart," the scar-faced man sneered. 3 million on the line, and you'd betray your brothers. One of the bodyguards opened the security box they'd brought. 3 million in cash lay quietly inside. Tai Gang grabbed the money without hesitation. Survival first, morals later. Then, click, a gun was cocked. The bodyguard pressed the muzzle to the back of Tai Gang's head. Sweat ran cold down his spine. "Boss, what are you doing?" Tai Gang stammered. His pupils dilated as realization hit. The bodyguard didn't hesitate. A single round punched through his brow. "You said it yourself," the boss murmured. "No backbone, no place to stand." He pocketed the 3 million, grinning down at the corpse. Traitors like him deserve to die. With that, he hoisted the painting and the cash and strode off. Zhang Ze almost spat out his soy milk at the sight before him. He hadn't gauged the bodyguard's strength yet, so striking now would be suicide. Revenge could wait. Getting stronger in the demon realm came first. For now, he forced himself to head home. His sister greeted him with a warm smile, and for a moment, his restless heart found peace. Then, click, the neighbor's door burst open. Zhang Ze froze. That scarred face, wasn't it the same bodyguard who killed Tai Gang? "Hey there, kid. You must be Zhang Feng's brother, right?" Zhang Ze's pulse spiked, but he smiled through it. Hello, sir. Thanks for the apples. Funny, I don't remember anyone living here before." The scarred man chuckled, extending his hand. "Just moved in recently." Zhang Feng chirped, "Uncle, come have dinner with us tonight." Her brother immediately stopped her. "Sorry, sir," Zhang Ze said quickly. "I'm exhausted today. Let me treat you properly another time." He ushered his sister inside, closing the door fast. Every instinct screamed danger. That neighbor was no ordinary man. Zhang Ze paced the room, unsettled. "He's hiding something. I can feel it." "Feng, stay here. Don't open the door," he ordered. Then he slipped out the window, landing quietly on the neighbor's balcony. White powder spread on the floor to catch footprints. But with 15 agility, Zhang Ze easily avoided leaving a trace. Who sets traps like this unless he's hiding something big? He crouched and peeked under the bed. There, a cardboard box. Inside lay a demon realm license, name Huang Hanfei, the same fugitive reported in the news days ago. Shit. Zhang Ze gritted his teeth, adrenaline spiking. This guy's a damn high-risk criminal. Suddenly, click, the door swung open. Crap. He had no time to run. A shadow stepped in. "Come out," a low voice said. "I know you're here." Zhang Ze tensed. If he was discovered, it was fight or die. Huang Hanfei drew his pistol slowly, loading a round with chilling calm. Zhang Ze's heartbeat thundered in his ears. Then, 3 seconds before 8 p.m., his wristwatch beeped. Beep, beep. The alarm he'd set for the demon realm's daily opening time blared through the silence. The moment the alarm went off, a crimson light flared in the old man's eyes. "Kid, you just gave yourself away." Huang Hanfei roared, pulling the trigger. The bullet sliced through the air, but before it could hit, Zhang Zai's wristwatch erupted in blinding light. The transmission surge flooded the entire room. Damn it. Huang kicked the bed frame hard. Lucky bastard, he snarled. Got teleported into the demon realm, right before the bullet hit. Then came that twisted laugh. Sharp, cruel. Run all you want, boy. I'll be right here, waiting. Let's see how long you can hide in that cursed world. Zhang Zai, now standing in the void of the demon realm, knew exactly what he was up against. 12 hours. That's all the time he had before being sent back. 12 hours to get stronger or die the moment I return. He opened his interface. Without hesitation, layer 4. A flash of light, and he landed on the altar once again. But the place was still packed with players. The dead zone hadn't vanished. Time itself seemed stretched. If I can't leave the altar, how am I supposed to grow stronger? He muttered. 2 nearby players caught his ear. To end the dead zone, someone's got to kill the final boss inside. Yeah, right? Tons of elites have gone in. None came out. You need an invitation to even enter. Zhang Zai checked his inventory, and there it was. No turning back now, he whispered. Entering the dead zone is my only chance. The first 3 layers cleared. No more rewards. The 4th sealed off, and back in reality, a demon realm enforcer waiting to kill him. He pressed yes without a moment's hesitation. The invitation glowed, trembling with cold blue light, a one-time use. As the 3-second countdown ended, a surge of deathly mist rose around him, swallowing him whole. The dead zone, an isolated world beyond both reality and the demon realm. Legends say it might even be one of the origins of the abyss itself. Anyone holding a dead zone invitation, no matter their nation or continent, would be pulled into this place. Suddenly, a soft, slender hand rested gently on Zhang Zai's shoulder. What a coincidence. Didn't expect to meet a familiar face here. It was Lu Yueying. She looked even more radiant than before, her figure subtly refined since their last encounter. Rasha, she smiled. You have no idea how long I've been looking for you. You saved my life back on the first floor of the demon realm. I've been wanting to repay that favor, but you vanished. A tall warrior beside her, carrying a massive sword, eyed Zhang Zai up and down. Not bad, kid. A hero at your age. Seeing Yueying again, Zhang Zai finally relaxed a little. At least here, in this nightmare of a place, he wasn't alone. He waved it off. It was nothing, just a small thing. The warrior, whose ID read Stormslayer, turned out to be Yueying's 6th uncle. And the young player behind them, ID Midsummer Dream, was her cousin, Xiao Tian. The uncle grinned. You got guts, kid. Most wouldn't step into the dead zone alone. This place isn't like the demon realm, he went on. It's crawling with horrors and rival adventurers from all over the world. They'll kill each other for a single drop of loot. I'm an excellent tier adventurer, the man added. Rasha, why not join us? Consider it a favor repaid for Yueying's sake. Zhang Zai's eyes narrowed slightly. He remembered the rankings from the Demon Codex. Novice, Solar, Skilled, Excellent, Powerful, Transcendent, Titled, the Titled tier, the pinnacle of known strength. With an ally this strong offering help, Zhang Zai had no reason to refuse. Thank you, 6th uncle. It's my first time in the dead zone. I'll be counting on your guidance. Seeing Rasha officially join, Lu Yueying couldn't help the small smile tugging at her lips. All right, uncle said. Everyone, share talent skills. We'll need tight coordination ahead. But before anyone could start, a beast burst out of the trees. Uncle's eyes gleamed. Perfect time for a demo. My talent, Shock Burst. I can imbue any weapon with kinetic energy. On hit, the target's knocked back 10 steps and paralyzed for 30 seconds. Next, Yueying's cousin, Midsummer Dream, spoke up. Mine's Illusion. I can project a target's image for 1 hour. Works on humans or monsters alike, but illusions can't fight. Yueying followed. You see mine, Light Slash. She turned to Zhang Zai. What about you, Rasha? Zhang Zai's eyes flickered. They'll find out eventually. Might as well show them now. A glowing summoning circle appeared beneath his feet. Magic surged from his hands, forming a swirling blue vortex. With a flash, a shield goblin from the 3rd floor of the demon realm appeared right before them. My talent is summoning. I can call back monsters I've defeated to fight by my side. He kept the deeper details to himself. Uncle nodded thoughtfully. Now that's interesting. Summoning beasts that obey every command. Never heard of such a skill. Wonder what your limit is. Enough talk, he barked. If we don't move now, someone else will take that boss. As they hurried on, Zhang Zhe asked, Uncle, are dead zone monsters different from those in the demon realm? Quite different, Uncle said, keeping his eyes forward. It's an isolated dungeon. Drops include neutral soul, orbs, and sometimes rare, high-tier gear that if luck's on your side, one item could fetch millions on a market. This trip's really for Yueying and Xiao Tian, to let them learn firsthand. Then boom, a deafening explosion shook the ground ahead. Smoke rose over the village, and to their shock, the ones fighting weren't monsters but humans sprouting bone spikes from their flesh. These aren't monsters, Uncle muttered, his eyes narrowing. They're villagers controlled by something. Forget fighting them all. Our goal's the boss. But as they ventured deeper into the village, unease began to sink in. Every house looked identical. Same doors, same lanterns, same cracks in the walls. It was like walking inside a looping illusion. Zhang Zhe suddenly stopped. Wait, that mark, we've been here before. We're going in circles. His pupils contracted sharply. Yueying, get back now. The team tightened formation, backs to each other. The sound of growling came from every direction. Then, crash. The doors burst open. Several villagers rushed out, faces pale, eyes empty, walking corpses. But the footsteps kept coming, more and more. Within seconds, the number of undead had multiplied fivefold, surrounding them. Formation. Uncle barked. I'll take the front. Yueying, cover our rear. Xiao Tian, Rasha, center position. Fight and move. Don't get split up. The village chief's roar ripped through the fog. From the rooftops and alleyways, the undead charged, claws outstretched, moaning like beasts. Summon now, Zhang Zhe shouted. A summoning circle lit beneath him. Two allies appeared, a stone-throwing goblin and a shield goblin. Behind him, Xiao Tian gripped his orb, trembling uncontrollably. But Zhang Zhe froze. Even elite goblins were being torn apart in one hit. The undead swung their spike clubs down. Back, Uncle roared, his sword igniting with aura. .1 flash. One strike, and the creature split clean in half. Uncle sighed inwardly that he had expected Rasha, who'd once saved Yueying, to be powerful, but now he wasn't so sure. The last zombie villager fell with a dull thud, and the sky turned pitch black. Thunderclouds swirled like a living storm. A lightning bolt, thick as a serpent, crashed down from above, striking Uncle square in the chest. Well, we meet again, Da Xiaoman, a voice, sharp and mocking, echoed through the storm. It was Dr. Mysterio, an elite mage from the kingdom of An, speaking perfect Chinese. His crimson staff glowed with killing intent. Lightning gathered, pulsing like blood through veins. Paralyzed, Uncle could only take the full hit. A surge of red thunder blasting him backward. Boom! A blinding explosion. That single strike, enough to kill most excellent tier players outright. Uncle staggered, body scorched, still refusing to fall. Sorry, Wang? He whispered hoarsely. I've dragged you, and Rasha, into my mess. But the enemy wasn't alone. 3 excellent tier foreign players emerged from the storm. A female elf archer. Her arrows shimmered, tracking targets midair. A giant named Harrison, the team's tank. Yet his brute strength was the deadliest of them all. Protecting Yueying and Xiao Tian, Uncle pulled out his last resort, the vitalization potion. Once consumed, it granted 30 seconds of immunity to all debuffs, but increased incoming damage by 20%. Yueying's heart sank. She knew what that meant. If Uncle drank it, he was ready to die fighting. Yueying, Uncle shouted, voice hoarse yet firm. Take them and fall back now. No arguments. I'll hold them off. But the elf archer had already drawn her bow to full tension. 3 arrows locked onto their hearts. She released. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The arrows curved midair, tracking their targets like guided missiles. Light slash, activate. Yue swung her sword, slicing twin arcs of light. 2 arrows shattered into sparks, but the third struck true. Thud! It pierced her shoulder, just shy of her heart. Gritting her teeth, she ripped it out, blood streaming down her arm. Only one way to end this. Zhangze realized that if they killed the Dead Zone's final boss, the domain itself would collapse, and then Kingdom players would be forced out. He opened his summon list. Only 3 bosses remained from earlier layers, and 2 low-tier goblins. Yue Ying's voice trembled as she explained, 6th Uncle's grudge with those foreign awakeners. It's about Dead Zone loot. The place opens dozens of times each decade. Riches beyond belief, but every fortune breeds blood. Then, a deep rumbling. All 3 turned at once. From the center of the village, a chained, blood-drenched giant staggered forth. One hand gripped a scythe. The other, a cleaver dripping red.it, was the Death Butcher, the final boss of the Dead Zone. Xiao Tian's knees nearly buckled. We just escaped the grave, and now this. We're trapped between hells. Behind them, foreign elites closing in. Ahead, an S-rank monstrosity. Zhangze raised his crossbow, eyes sharp. Fine, he muttered. Then we kill the boss, and end this hell ourselves. Zhangze wasn't bluffing. He had a plan. Step 1. Keep those foreign adventurers from interfering once the boss fight began. The task, surprisingly, fell to the least impressive of their team, the timid mage Xiao Tian. Actually, Zhangze said with a grin, your illusion spell is our key to victory. You sure that's not just a pep talk? Xiao Tian frowned. Meanwhile, on the enemy's side, Chaos. Where's that guy, Furious Wind? He used a random teleport scroll, muttered Dr. Mysterio. Didn't expect him to have one of those. Cost tens of thousands on the market. Doesn't matter, Harrison sneered. He had 10% HP left. He'll teleport straight into a monster nest and die instantly. But then, a heavy wave of death energy surged across the ground. The air itself grew cold, suffocating. A massive silhouette emerged from the fog, the Death Butcher. What the hell? The boss spawned right on top of us. Dr. Mysterio's shock twisted into greed. Perfect. The biggest prize in the Dead Zone, right in front of us. I heard killing the boss guarantees an S-tier drop, the elf archer said, smiling hungrily. Then I'll take the first shot. She drew her bow, arrow storm. Thousands of arrows rained down and passed clean through the monster without leaving a mark. Let's see it tank this. Dr. Mysterio raised his staff. Thunderfire burst. The spell struck, blinding, deafening, but again, no damage. The Death Butcher didn't even flinch. Impossible, the doctor whispered. A nullification skill? Immunity to all physical and magical attacks? That shouldn't exist. But every second of their panic was being broadcast through a scrying orb hovering before Zhangze. Come on, you two, Xiao Tian urged. My illusion's only good for 1 hour. Zhangze finally stopped holding back. Summoning art, full release. He roared. Blue sigils lit up beneath his feet as every boss from floors 1 to 3 appeared around him. The ground trembled. Magic surged like a storm. Yue Ying's eyes widened in disbelief. You can summon bosses? Then, his elite summon, Shadow Wolf King, suddenly leveled up to tier 2, its aura sharpened. Its speed nearly doubled. Perfect, Zhangze muttered. Now we have a real shot. All summons, attack formation, Shadow Wolf, Goblin Commander, frontline. The wolf dashed forward like a black streak. Use your speed to keep it pinned, Zhangze ordered. But as the wolf's claws raked across its chest, the Death Butcher spoke. You feel it, don't you? The scent of death. Its side swung. Boom. A direct hit. 380 critical damage. Zhangze's heart sank. That one exchange told him everything. This boss was on a whole different level. It can speak our language? That meant intelligence. Awareness. Strategy. Yue Ying, now. She leapt forward, blade blazing with holy light. Zhangze summoned Poison Spider. Webbind, sticky silk shot out, trapping the butcher mid-motion. For the first time, it stopped moving. Got you. Yue Ying slashed downward. Light slash, triple strike. 3 strikes landed fast, but only shallow wounds marked its skin. Support fire, Zhang Ze commanded. Swallow Frog launched flame breath, while goblins hurled stones and fireballs. Explosions rocked the field, then the webs broke. The butcher's eyes turned crimson. It ignored everyone else, charging straight at Zhang Ze. Damn, it's targeting me. The goblin commander jumped in front of him. Bone splitter. The butcher roared. Its cleaver struck through the goblin's chest. 300 damage. Don't touch him. The shadow wolf lunged, unleashing shadow rend. Chain slash. But the butcher countered instantly. Another bone splitter. Critical hit. 600. Blood sprayed. The wolf collapsed, fading into blue particles. Gone. Zhang Ze's heart tore apart. His longest companion, the Shadow Wolf King, was gone. But there was no time to grieve that if they didn't end the Death Butcher now, everyone here would die. And Xiao Tian's illusion, the fake butcher, was already flickering, second from collapse. Focus. Zhang Ze forced himself to breathe, shoving the pain down. Focus and fight. Poison Spider, web bind. Hold it for a few seconds. That'll give Swallow Frog enough time to launch a fireball. Once it hits, the butcher will stagger. Then we go all in. Yuing understood immediately. Light slash go. Her blade gleamed, slicing through the air in radiant arcs. Fireballs and holy light slammed into the monster. Its HP dropped fast, down to 1/3. Then, crimson light burst from its chest, passive triggered. Everyone froze. The air felt heavy. Suddenly, the butcher turned and ran away. A disgusting, wet chewing sound followed. Zhang Ze's eyes widened. No way, it's eating corpses. The boss's passive, Blood Feast, was restoring HP 2% per second. We can't let it heal. Zhang Ze shouted. Same plan. Hit it hard while it's distracted. All ranged units. Fire at will. In the next instant, a dazzling light burst out from the cold, dark domain of death. Yet the Death Butcher wasn't finished. Its health had recovered just in time. Zhang Ze quickly ordered the Poison Spider to cast Webbind again. The moment the boss was restrained, Lui Wang's light slash finished cooling down and was unleashed in a flash. Right after that, the Goblin Commander regained its senses and swung hard with a whirlwind slash aimed straight at the boss. Lui Wang cried out in triumph, sensing victory at hand. The next fireball exploded right after. Everyone except Zhang Ze landed massive hits. Finally, Zhang Ze drew his bow to the limit and fired, the arrow piercing the boss's brow with a minor critical strike. Yet that tiny blow was enough. The boss's health bar hit 0. The Death Butcher collapsed before Zhang Ze, its twisted face frozen in unwilling rage. At the same time, Xiao Tian's illusion faded away with the boss's death. In the next instant, a global announcement flashed before every adventurer's eyes. Congratulations to player Raksha for defeating the domain of Death's boss, the Death Butcher. As the corpse faded away, a pile of brilliant loot scattered across the ground. Zhang Ze's eyes gleamed as he reached out slowly, hand trembling toward a bow among the spoils. It was an S-grade Bloodbane longbow, whose special effect converted 10% of a user's dealt damage into self-healing. Some adventurers had roamed the domain for decades without ever completing a single S-grade set. Yet Zhang Ze, only 3 days into his journey, had just earned his very first S-grade weapon. The bow itself seemed to thrum with hunger for blood. Perhaps its power was tied to the Death Butcher's Bloodlust passive. Along with the bow came 16 high-tier neutral soul orbs, a random teleport scroll worth tens of thousands of dollars, and 4 bottles of potent recovery brew. Zhang Ze kept the scroll, the bow, and 8 orbs, giving the rest to Lui Wang. Lui Wang waved her hand. Raksha, you did the most. I can't take that much. Zhang Ze smiled. Don't hold back. We beat that boss together. Just then, angry shouts erupted in the distance. Despicable Daxia scum. So you've been hiding here? The foreign adventurers snarled. They'd been tricked by the illusion and wasted a full hour. Xiao Tian trembled, his face pale. 3 elite adventurers. They're tougher than the Death Butcher. Zhang Ze glanced at his injured summons and made up his mind. Time to teleport out of the domain. Then Lu Yuang stepped forward, eyes burning with fury. They killed my uncle, she said. No matter what, it's blood for blood. Cowardly Xiao Tian turned away, muttering his goodbye. He wasn't planning to die here. Zhang Ze watched her, worry written across his face. Rakshago, she said firmly. This is my fight. But Zhang Ze raised his hand and summoned his magic. Your grudge may not be mine, but with me and my summons, we might actually win. Don't play dead, get up. He roared, as dark energy rippled outward. The Death Butcher rose once again, reborn under Zhang Ze's command. The three foreign adventurers froze, stunned. What? How can a domain boss respawn after death? Worse still, the resurrected Death Butcher wasn't attacking the Daxiao players. It was charging straight at them. Tears welled in Lu Yuang's eyes. Uncle, I'm avenging you. But right then, her communicator buzzed with a message. Yuang, I'm alive. Xiao Tian told me what happened. Leave the domain now. Those three foreigners are no joke. Lu Yuang's eyes widened in joy. She quickly told Zhang Ze the news. She then exited the domain and arranged to meet him later. Back on the 4th floor of the domain, Zhang Ze smirked. That woman, honestly, I don't even know what to say. At that same moment, the Death Butcher blocking the three foreigners vanished, leaving them dumbfounded. Zhang Ze reappeared on the 4th floor of the domain. Together, he and Lu Yuang reunited with her uncle. After hearing Xiao Tian's report, the old man patted Zhang Ze's shoulder with a grin. Raksha, you really are something else. I misjudged you. He turned and glared at Xiao Tian. You coward. Learn something from Raksha, will you? Then he pulled Zhang Ze aside. Our Lu family's pretty reputable, you know. Yuang's 18 and never had a boyfriend. You two are about the same age. Keep in touch, eh? Yuang's face turned scarlet. Uncle, you can't just say that. Seeing her embarrassment, the old man burst out laughing. All right, I'll stop teasing. Zhang Ze turned to the old man. Senior, there's something I need to ask you. How can I defeat a domain master? He hadn't forgotten the real-world threat. Huang Hanfei, the armed fugitive waiting for him to return. The old adventurer explained. To take down a first-tier domain wielder, you must understand how their stats are built. Normally, passing the first-tier exam just means hitting the required 4-attribute threshold. But most pros specialize. They pour everything into one stat. So if you want to win, figure out which stat he's best at. After logging out, Zhang Ze realized his fugitive neighbor was nowhere to be found. A chill ran down his spine. He sprinted back home. As expected, the fugitive was sitting beside his sister, smiling coldly. Zhang Ze froze. Brother, help me, his sister whimpered. Huang Hanfei's twisted grin deepened. Kid, you and your sister saw my face. You know the cops are hunting me, right? Zhang Ze frowned. What do you want? The man pressed a knife to his sister's throat. If you call the police, we die together. His intent was sickeningly clear. He wanted to harvest their organs for the black market. Suddenly, there was a sharp knock at the door. Huang Hanfei flinched, eyes blazing. He pressed the knife harder. Don't play games with me, boy. Zhang Ze's heart pounded. That can't be my teacher. I just sent him a text. He opened the door slowly. It was just a delivery man with takeout that I didn't order anything. Zhang Ze said flatly. Please leave. The delivery girl glanced inside. But the address is right. How could it be wrong? Zhang Ze snapped and slapped the box from her hands. I said I didn't order anything. Get lost. He slammed the door shut, ignoring her persistent knocking. As the girl turned away, a sly smile crept across her face. So Huang Hanfei really is here. Her 1.5 million Korean won's bounty was as good as hers. Inside, Huang Hanfei pressed a knife against Zhang Feng's neck. You're taking me out of here, he ordered coldly. The three of them reached a car he'd prepared in advance. Suddenly, a throwing knife cut through the air, nicking his shoulder but missing the kill. You said you didn't call the cops. He snarled. The delivery girl now stood in tactical gear, smirking. Go ahead, kill the hostage. Makes my job easier. Huang Hanfei's eyes widened. He knew that tone. A bounty hunter. Without hesitation, she hurled 3 more blades straight at him, ignoring the hostage. "Are you insane?" Zhang Zhe shouted. "You'll hit my sister." He leapt forward, blocking the blades before they reached her. Using his 26-point agility, he grabbed his sister and pulled her back in a blur. Without a hostage, Huang Hanfei began to panic. The bounty hunter stared, astonished. "You that fast?" Zhang Zhe's voice thundered. "You hurt my sister, and I'll kill you where you stand. Maybe don't let her stand in front of the perp, then." The girl snapped back. Huang Hanfei's smirk returned. "Didn't want to start a bloodbath, but since you insist, fine." His eyes flared crimson, psychic energy bursting outward. The shockwave hit like a hammer. The girl dropped unconscious. Idiot. She dumped all her stats into agility. Her spirit must have been garbage. He crushed her mind in seconds. Zhang Zhe quickly realized it. As a first-tier domain wielder, Huang Hanfei had poured everything in his spirit power. Perfect. He burst forward, his speed breaking past 1,000 meters per second. Huang Hanfei barely had time to cock his pistol. In the next instant, Zhang Zhe's punch, carrying a ton of force, shattered his lower ribs. Just as Huang tried to pull the trigger, Zhang Zhe struck faster than the bullet, smashing his cheekbone to pieces. "So you focused on spirit, huh? That explains your weak defense. If you'd shot first, I might have been done for." With Huang Hanfei down, the police arrived right on cue. His teacher, Lu Wei, rushed over and scolded him. "I told you not to fight. We were seconds away. That man had 7 murders on record." Zhang Zhe feigned innocence. "Sorry, Teacher Lu. I didn't check my phone." A police officer stepped in. "Come on, sir. Don't be too hard on him. The kid's a hero now." Not wanting to reveal his strength, Zhang Zhe explained lightly that the bounty hunter had helped him rescue his sister. The officers recognized her instantly. Shun Ming Dai, the reckless bounty hunter. Yeah, technically a domain wielder herself. Helped us catch plenty of fugitives and caused just as much trouble. As they loaded her into the ambulance, one officer said, "Kid, don't forget your reward, 1.5 million yen. You and her split it 50-50. Hearing that he'd get 750,000 Korean wons, Zhang Zhe couldn't stop grinning. With that, plus the money he'd earned in the domain, he could finally pay for his sister's artificial kidney lease. That night at 8 p.m., he logged back into the 4th layer of the domain. The death zone was gone, completely wiped out. With the Death Butcher slain, the summoning lineup had a huge gap now. Monsters on the 4th layer were mostly pig heads and birdmen. The final boss, the Minotaur Commander. From a name alone, you could tell this one hits hard. Zhang Zhe went solo again, stepping into the desolate forest alone. Suddenly, a pig head lunged out of the brush. Zhang Zhe instantly activated his SSSRank summon. Death Butcher and Goblin Chief appeared, his 2 strongest summons. Time to test the Butcher's new power. Even with the Goblin Chief blocking, the pig head still dealt massive damage. "Looks like the boss here's going to be a real monster," he muttered. But Death Butcher didn't disappoint. One swing, 2 pig heads down. Just as Zhang Zhe thought he ruled the 4th layer, a birdman swooped down for a surprise attack. Its claws slashed toward him. But Zhang Zhe was faster. Much faster. He pulled out his S-rank weapon, the Bloodbane Bow. "Perfect. Let's see what you're worth." The arrow flew, but the birdman dodged easily, staying just out of range. Furious, Zhang Zhe summoned the Devourer Frog. "Blow it up now." 3 blazing fireballs shot into the sky, painting it blood red with nowhere to hide. The birdman was consumed by the fiery bombardment, falling in ashes. After an hour of non-stop hunting, Zhang Zhe sighed in relief. Thankfully, the birdmen and pig heads didn't have high defense. He activated his SSSRank summon again, calling back the fallen birdmen and pig heads. Finally, all 10 summon slots were filled. Next up, the boss of the 4th layer. On his way there, Zhang Zhe suddenly heard a girl screaming for help. Up ahead, a burly brute was chasing a bunny-eared girl, yelling threats as he swung his weapon. The girl spotted Zhang Zhe, her savior, and immediately clung to his leg. "Big brother, she helped me with what you asked. I can't just leave her." Zhang Zhe frowned. What did I ask you to do? But before he could get an answer, the girl ran off. A system message popped up. Moonlight Bunny has stolen 3 mid-tier soul orbs from your inventory. Zhang Ze finally realized her innate skill, light-fingered theft, which allows her to steal random items. Then a thought struck him. What if she used it on a boss? For now, he had a bigger problem. She not only stole from him, but also framed him as the culprit behind it all. A player named Irritable Dragon King challenged him to a PK duel without a word. In the next instant, Zhang Ze summoned the second layer bosses, Devourer Frog and Poison Spider. Dragon King froze in shock, thinking the game had bugged out. Then the searing heat of a 1,000-degree fireball hit him squarely, and he finally realized it wasn't a glitch. This kid's talent was Summoner, Venom Tyrant. Dragon King pulled out a vial of Berserk Potion. A thick, metallic scent of blood burst from his body. Just as he lunged toward Zhang Ze, the Goblin Warlord, boss of Layer 3, appeared out of nowhere. Dragon King froze in shock. But Zhang Ze's summoning wasn't over yet. In the next instant, the Death Butcher, final boss of the Dead Domain, appeared, blocking his escape with a massive cleaver. Facing the 2 kind-faced monsters, Dragon King dropped his club, sat on the ground, and surrendered. I flipped him the finger. He still had the nerve to whine that I should stop summoning so many bosses and fight him like a man. Zhang Ze chuckled. It's my talent skill. If I can't use it, how am I supposed to fight you? Dragon King bawled like a kid, claiming I'd teamed up with that bunny girl to trick him. Zhang Ze opened the notification window. See for yourself. She stole from me too. Realizing it was a misunderstanding, Dragon King broke into a sweat and apologized. Bro, sorry man, my bad. Zhang Ze thought to himself, this guy's simple-minded, but at least he admits when he's wrong. That honest grin of Dragon King's won Zhang Ze over. They shook hands, added each other as friends. Enemies turned buddies. Dragon King waved goodbye. A few teammates were waiting for him to hunt another boss. Zhang Ze opened the Layer 4 map. It looked just like a maze. He wasn't far from the boss spawn point now. Then a familiar scream for help echoed from ahead. It was Moonlight Bunny, the little thief, and she was in big trouble. The Minotaur Warlord swung its giant axe down on her, making the girl cry in sheer terror. Behind the boss, a pighead monster spoke human words. You deserve this, thief. Turns out, it was a player in disguise. Sure, she'd stolen things, but that was no reason to kill her. Zhang Ze drew his blood-cursed bow and fired. Then he unleashed all 10 of his summoned creatures. Under their relentless onslaught, the boss was driven to the ground, its once overwhelming power completely crushed by Zhang Ze's army of summons. The pighead player froze in shock. He'd never seen a talent skill like that before. His disguise? In front of this player named Raksha, it was nothing but garbage. Fine, Raksha. He'd remember that name. That stupid bunny. Since some fool's willing to protect her, I'll let her live this time. The next moment, a wave of heat over 1,000 degrees erupted from the Minotaur Warlord's body. Its HP bar dropped straight to 0. The boss's form burst apart into pure energy. System notification. Congratulations. You've defeated the Layer 4 boss, Minotaur Warlord. Tons of soul orbs dropped, though Zhang Ze lost 1 pighead summon in the process. Moonlight Bunny walked over, her face full of guilt, handing back the stolen soul orbs. Thank you, big brother. I was wrong. Yang Shimitarais. Good. Just don't steal from anyone again. After the bunny girl left, Zhang Ze looked at the ground. Stop playing dead. Get up. The Minotaur Warlord, boss of Layer 4, rose again, revived as Zhang Ze summoned. The gate to Layer 5 opened, and after saving his progress, Zhang Ze logged out and returned to the real world. The next day at school, he overheard classmates talking about the Dawn organization. They'd pinned a massive bounty on the forum. When he checked it, Zhang Ze's eyes widened. The bounty target's ID was Raksha. His ID, 5 million in cash. His face darkened. So that's what Death's Kiss meant when he said, even in death, I won't let you live in peace. Looks like it's time to build a real team. 6th Uncle, Moonshadow, and Dragon King. They might just be the allies he needs. Back home, Zhang loaded his save and logged into the 5th layer. The moment he appeared, he could feel dozens of eyes on him. The floor was packed with players. Because of the bounty, the name Raksha had become a target. If he walked out of the altar carelessly, they'd attack on sight. He glanced at his summon list. Better head back to Layer 4 and build a treasure army. That move completely threw off the hunters camping on Layer 5. Once he teleported down, he kept to the shadows. Still, someone spotted him. And there she was again, Moonlight Bunny. She grabbed his leg, pleading, "Big brother, please help me. I have to reach Layer 30. I don't want to steal anymore, but I need money so badly." Zhang sighed. He was weak against that tone. Feeling her desperate grip, he said, all right, I'll help you." The bunny handed over all her gear and materials, everything of value she had left. Zhang shook his head. "Keep it. I'll take you as far as I can." System notification. Moonlight Bunny has joined your party. At that moment, Zhang suddenly had an idea. "Little bunny, your innate skill lets you steal items from players. What would happen if you used it on the boss?" Little bunny's eyes lit up. How had she never thought of that before? But Zhang then asked curiously, "By the way, Bunny, what are you doing on the 30th floor?" She replied softly that she was looking for her father. He went to the 30th floor of the demon domain and never came back. Zhang sighed inwardly. Most likely, her father had already been killed by monsters. After all, in the demon domain, everyone could only stay online for up to 12 hours a day. When the two finally reached the boss spawn point, they saw a raiding party being completely wiped out by the Minotaur Lord. Without hesitation, Zhang cast his summoning spell, and all 9 of his summoned beasts appeared at once. Zhang told Little Bunny, "I'll hold it off in a moment. When the time comes, use pickpocket on the Minotaur Lord and see what happens." The Butcher of Death charged forward, landing a massive critical hit. Meanwhile, the Devouring Frog kept attacking from range, while the Goblin Chief spun into a whirlwind melee assault. Just as the boss's HP hit the red zone, it unleashed its skill, Bull Rush. Zhang sensed the perfect opening and ordered his poison spider to cast Webbind, trapping the nearly max-leveled Minotaur. The control lasted a full 90 seconds. "Bunny, your turn," Zhang shouted. Little Bunny immediately cast pickpocket on the boss. A new item appeared in her hands, a hard bullhorn. Whoa, it actually works on bosses, but its purpose was still unknown. The boss went berserk with rage, but couldn't touch her. Because Zhang stood right beside her, no monster dared to make a move. "Don't hold back, Bunny. Steal everything you can." Normally she used her skills sneakily, but this time she did it openly. "Congratulations. You've obtained Cowhide." Zhang searched the Demon Domain guide for a long time, but found no record of what these materials were used for. If its materials are all stolen, then it's worthless now. Finally, the Butcher of Death landed the killing blow, granting Zhang a new boss tier summon. After confirming that Bunny's pickpocket could steal materials from bosses, Zhang's next goal was clear. Head to the 3rd floor of the Demon Domain to expand his army of summons. So Zhang returned to the 3rd floor, using the Goblin Chief boss to fill every available summoning slot except the boss slot itself. Among Zhang's summons, the boss-type creatures were the strongest. He only had 4 of them, but they made up nearly 60% of his total power. When Zhang arrived on the 5th floor of the Demon Domain, he immediately contacted Liu Yueying's 5-man team, and to his surprise, found out that Dragon King was one of his fixed party members. Zhang mentioned that the Dawn Guild had placed a 5 million bounty on him. The little princess's eyes instantly sparkled. "Brother Rakshasa, better to keep the reward within the family. Why not let me claim it?" Dragon King scolded her. "Didn't you just take a 1.5 million bounty a while ago? Don't remind me. Half of it was snatched by some guy named Zhang." That's when Zhang finally realized this little princess was actually the bounty hunter Shin Mengdai, who had hunted down Huang Hanfei. Dragon King quickly changed the topic. "Brother Rakshasa's talent is insane. His summoning spell can even call forth bosses." The mage named One Autumn Leaf gasped in shock. "A summoning skill that can call bosses? That's at least SS rank. There are fewer than 500 S ranks across all Adasha. Zhang Ze didn't deny it, but decided to keep the truth that his talent was triple S secret for now. Little Bunny exclaimed in delight, "No wonder I wanted to cling to Brother Rakshasa the moment I saw him." Then Rakshasa made a request. "If we're teaming up, Moonlight Bunny comes with us. She doesn't need loot, just to clear." The money-loving little princess immediately protested. "At least pay her a service fee, right?" To ease the tension, Giant God volunteered to cover all of Bunny's compensation. Lui Wing told Zhang Ze, "Don't take it personally. The princess may love money, but she's our only support, and a skilled one." Giant God then said with excitement, "Since everyone's here, let's take down the 5th floor boss, the Black Fin Wizard. With Brother Rakshasa joining, we're guaranteed to win." The monsters on the 5th floor were far stronger than those on the previous ones. Even Lui Weiying's elite team had been stuck there for months. As they cleared out the mobs on the way to the boss spawn, Zhang Ze finally got the chance to learn about his teammates' abilities. The tank, Giant God, was an S-rank talent user with the skill Defense Aura, which boosted teammates' defense by 50% within a 3-meter radius, allowing the main attackers to go all out without fear. The first type of monster on the 5th floor, the Tide Shifter, didn't deal much damage but had insane healing. It could restore a huge chunk of HP in one go. The second type, the Wave Rider, had low defense but terrifying attack power. The next second, the entire mob froze solid. It was one Autumn Leaf's area control skill, Frozen Rain. Any creature caught within its radius was instantly encased in ice. Afterward, Dragon King and Lui Wing finished them off. Zhang Ze sighed to himself. Joining such a capable team would definitely benefit him in the long run. Once the path was cleared, the group finally reached the boss spawn point of the 5th floor. By touching the Sea God Stone, players could gain 1 hour of underwater breathing. Otherwise, they would start drowning, losing 10% HP every minute. That meant the 7-person team only had 1 hour to defeat the boss, the Black Fin Wizard. But when they dove underwater, they discovered that their healer, the little princess, had a fear of water. That might explain why they had been stuck on this floor for so long. Just then, a group of battered players swam back from ahead. Their leader, Blackly Kuei, waved to Giant God. "Brother Giant," they wiped again. The Black Fin Wizard's skills were downright brutal. It could summon 3 waves of minions for protection, teleport instantly, and fire Dark Slam, a spell that dealt massive damage and launched targets into the air. Its third phase ability, Death Sacrifice, was a complete nightmare. Every time it was cast, the entire team lost 20% of their HP until total annihilation. Hearing that, Zhang Ze felt a chill in his chest. There seemed to be no real strategy. Did they really have to brute force their way through? Still, since they'd already reached the boss, he decided to observe its patterns and look for any weakness. The moment the boss spawned, the battle erupted. The 7-man team opened with Giant God's Defense Aura to take the front line. Once the mobs appeared, one Autumn Leaf cast Frozen Rain to control the field. Lui Weiying and Dragon King then stepped in as the main DPS. Zhang Ze wasn't idle either. He summoned the Devouring Frog and Goblin Chief, while the healer Little Princess provided steady recovery, keeping their damage flowing. However, Zhang Ze underestimated the 5th floor monster's strength. The Goblin Chief was quickly overwhelmed by the Wave Riders and fell in battle. When the Black Fin Wizard summoned its second wave of minions, the team stayed calm and cleared them flawlessly, taking almost no damage. Suddenly, the Black Fin Wizard blinked behind Dragon King, striking him with Dark Slam. 759 HP gone in an instant, leaving him gravely wounded. Zhang Ze panicked. It can teleport. In the next moment, Little Princess activated her S-rank skill, Green Blessing, fully restoring Dragon King's health bar in an instant. Dragon King roared back, swinging his staff with full force at the Black Fin Wizard. But the boss blinked again, this time behind Lui Weiying. Another Dark Slam landed, a massive crit that sent her flying through the water. Fortunately, Zhang Ze caught her in time. Otherwise, she would have taken lethal fall damage. One autumn leaf seized the perfect moment and cast Frozen Rain again. The Blackfin Wizard froze solid. Dragon King swung his staff without hesitation. The blow landed as a critical hit, slashing the boss's HP straight down to 50%. But when the boss blinked again, it didn't attack. Instead, it backed away from the team. Giant God immediately reactivated his defense aura. As expected, the Blackfin Wizard had entered its third phase. Following their prearranged plan, Dragon King shouted, "Brother Rakshasa, time to move." Zhangze opened his summoning list and began calling forth his creatures without pause. The Minotaur Lord, the Butcher of Death, and the Devouring Frog all appeared to block the boss's third wave of minions. Yet this wave seemed smarter. They rushed straight toward Zhangze, sensing him as the true threat. In the next instant, the Butcher of Death swung his cleaver, wiping out all the Wave Riders at once. Zhangze's strategy was simple: fight with summons, sustain with summons. The slain Wave Riders were instantly revived under Zhangze's control, allowing his formation to stay full even when allies fell. Then, for the first time, the Blackfin Wizard unleashed its ultimate death sacrifice. It grabbed its own minions, draining every drop of their life force until a violent surge of dark magic exploded from a seabed. A massive AoE hit the team. Zhangze lost 815 HP in one strike. The rest of the squad coordinated flawlessly, using Frozen Rain and Blade of Light in sync, while Dragon King's Mountain Crushing Staff finished off the remaining monsters in record time. Zhangze knew it clearly. If they couldn't end this fight before their underwater breathing ran out, they were doomed. At the same time, the Blackfin Wizard unleashed its second death sacrifice. With the magic damage amplified by 40%, the explosion nearly wiped out the entire team. Everyone was left on the brink of death, and there was no way to counter the curse. One more cast, and all 7 members would die, and in the demon domain, death meant death in reality. But then behind them, several beams of healing light rose from the darkness. 5, maybe 6 of them. In an instant, every teammate's HP was restored to full. That power didn't come from Little Princess's green blessing. It came from the Tide healers that Zhangze had resurrected through his summoning skill. That's right, Zhangze found his own secret strategy for victory. With these heal-focused Tide healers on his side, his teammates could attack fearlessly, wiping out the remnants of the third wave. Zhangze drew his S-rank weapon, the Bloodfiend Bow, and summoned the Devouring Frog. Just as the boss began its third death sacrifice, Zhangze and the frog's combined strike exploded for nearly 2,000 damage. It turned out the boss's devastating power came at the cost of its own HP. The moment the Blackfin Wizard fell, a glowing portal opened behind Zhangze, the gateway to the 6th floor of the demon domain. He landed the final blow himself, ensuring he could summon the boss later. The corpse burst open, scattering countless high-grade soul orbs, and among them, a rare invitation to the realm of death. With just the Death Butcher under his command, Zhangze had already dominated the first 5 floors. Now, with this invitation, perhaps he could step into the Death Realm and challenge an even stronger boss. Zhangze handed most of the high-tier soul orbs to his teammates. From Giant God's excited description, he learned that the 6th floor of the demon domain was a cobalt mining zone, and rumor had it that rare minerals there could upgrade weapons. One player once stole a gemstone worth 6 figures, only to be chased by over 100 furious cobalt miners swinging their pickaxes. The gem turned out to be a special or used to enhance weapons, a rare material unique to the 6th floor mines. Zhangze had only managed to steal the lowest grade one, but still sold for 10,000 credits. The highest quality, or was called Black Steel Crystal. It could only upgrade S-rank weapons, yet even a small shard was worth 500,000, its drop rate as rare as winning the lottery. However, to actually enhance equipment, players had to reach the 10th floor and find the Dwarven Blacksmith. The higher the gear's tier, the rarer the ore required. Some sixth-floor monsters also dropped unrefined ore. The money-hungry little princess's eyes sparkled. If we dig up a few dozen pieces, we'll be rich overnight. But since everyone was still exhausted from the last boss fight, the 7-player squad decided to log in again tomorrow for a mining expedition. Still, the little princess was itching to find at least one black steel crystal. Zhang logged out of the demon domain, thinking he'd better rest. He had an award to claim in the morning. One by one, the party logged off. The next morning, Zhang went to the police headquarters, where officers awarded him the full 1.5 million bounty for capturing Huang Hanfei. In real life, the little princess, Shun Mingdai, showed up to claim her share. She pointed at Zhang chest and said boldly, "Sure, I was hypnotized back then, but if it weren't for me, my sister would have been beaten to death by Huang Hanfei. I risked my life to save her. So yeah, I deserve this 75 grand. Everything else in this world is fake. Only money is real." Zhang couldn't help but pity her. What had this woman gone through to become so obsessed with money? Suddenly, a group of reporters rushed over to interview him. Thankfully, he kept his mouth shut. No one learned that his in-game ID was Rakshasa. By 8 that evening, Zhang logged back in. Checking his summoning list, he noted that though the Goblin Chief and Minotaur Lord were gone, the Wave Riders and Tide Healers made up for it nicely. Soon after, Shun Mingdai came online. Her affection toward Rakshasa had grown, though Zhang dared not reveal his identity. If she ever found out he was the same man, she might never treat him the same again. Moments later, Lu Yueying appeared, and the first thing she did was hand him her real-life phone number. If the others aren't around, she said with a smile, "We can duo together. After all, you're the top-ranked player on Bounty Island now." But the ever-straightforward Zhang simply tossed her number into the recycle bin. "Yueying, your contact code is your personal info. We don't know each other in real life. Let's just pretend I never saw it." Lu Yueying scoffed, turning away. "You caught me in your arms yesterday, and now you say we're strangers? Oof, jerk." Meanwhile, the other 5 teammates logged in around the same time, regrouping on the 5th floor of the demon domain. After a good night's sleep, Dragon King was bursting with energy. "Today, I'm digging this mine until there's nothing left." As the 7-man squad entered the mine, they immediately encountered their first wave of kobold miners, towering creatures, far larger than the monsters from the earlier floors. The moment the kobolds charged, Giant God barked orders. "Standard formation. I'll take the front." With that, he activated his defense aura. One autumn leaf handled crowd control with frozen rain. Dragon King flanked right, swinging his mountain-crushing staff. Lu Yueying pushed from the left, slashing through with Blade of Light. Zhang held the center, summoning creatures to reinforce the team's attacks, while Little Princess kept everyone healed with Green Blessing. But the freezing that usually lasted a full minute shattered in under 40 seconds. Had the monster's resistance increased? The lapse left Dragon King completely exposed. One kobold slammed its pickaxe straight into him. Zhang's eyes widened. Frozen Rain was an A-rank skill, yet it was already this ineffective on the 5th floor. It was clear now, without upgrading their weapons, advancing deeper into the demon domain would be suicide. Zhang quickly summoned 3 Tide Healers, joining Little Princess to spam healing spells, desperately keeping Dragon King and Lu Yueying alive. At last, one of the kobold miners collapsed under Lu Yueying's blade. The other one was locked on a giant god, who was barely hanging on. Even a tank like him was nearly one shot. The kobold's attack power was insane. Zhang didn't dare summon the Black Fin Wizard. It was too fragile and would get deleted instantly. Instead, he pulled out his Bloodfiend Bow and unleashed fireballs from the Devouring Frog, blasting the second kobold miner to pieces. As they pressed deeper, Zhang sent the Death Butcher ahead alongside Dragon King and Lu Yueying to clear the path. He soon realized these kobolds weren't just strong. Their HP pools rivaled early floor bosses. Fortunately, their loot and or drops were just as rewarding. But before they could catch their breath, 2 more kobold miners spawned from the shadows. One autumn leaf instantly cast frozen rain to lock them down. Yet after so many battles, the team was drained. The freezing duration weakened again. Dragon King, once full of fire, was now swearing in frustration. Finally, the Death Butcher brought his cleaver down, splitting the last kobold in two. These things are endless. Dragon King roared. Giant God, try to calm everyone down. It's normal. Some parties get stuck on the 6th floor for a month straight. The little princess exploded a month. I'll go bankrupt before that happens. Louis Wayne glanced at Zhang Zhe. What are you staring at? I might have found an easier way to deal with them, he replied calmly. Didn't you notice they all have something in common? Louis Wayne blinked. Wait, the candles on their heads? You think that's their light source? Zhang Zhe raised his blood-fiend bow and aimed for the candle. Whoosh! The arrow sliced through it cleanly. Let's test the theory. In the next moment, the kobold miner stumbled, thrashing blindly. It couldn't see a thing. Louis Wayne gasped. If we sell this info, we can make 7 figures easily. With the candle trick now in hand, Zhang Zhe led his 7-man team straight through the tunnels, cutting down every monster in their path until they reached the boss spawn point. But to their frustration, another team had already gotten there first. The female team leader, watching from the sidelines, smirked the moment she spotted the little princess. Well, if it isn't Miss Shen herself. What's wrong? Still haven't paid off your family's debt? Humiliated but furious, Shen Mingdai clenched her fists. Even if her family had fallen, it wasn't this nouveau riche's turn to mock her. The woman sneered. Yeah, I'm filthy rich, so what? You used to have billions and look down on everyone. Now look at you, desperate. I swore I'd take back every shred of dignity you took from me. Then she turned to Zhang Zhe's team. Leave Shen Mingdai. Join us. 10 million annual salary. Full S-rank gear for everyone. Shen Mingdai trembled with rage, but couldn't form a reply. Dragon King's eyes flared. Put that filthy money away before I lose my temper. Giant God chuckled. Who in our team needs your measly 10 million? Rejected, the woman snapped coldly. Fine. Then this boss is officially claimed by my fallen swallow squad. Dragon King nearly exploded with anger. The next second, a player named Western Hound drew his shotgun and aimed it straight at him. Dragon King tends to attack, but Zhang Zhe stopped him. Don't. Look at their gear, all S-rank. Relax. I got a plan. As the fallen swallow team whittled the boss down to low health, Zhang Zhe silently aimed an arrow at a nearby barrel of gunpowder. Boom! The explosion ignited a chain reaction, lighting up the mine. The entire enemy team was blasted to near death and forced to flee. Shen Mingdai gasped, covering her mouth. Rakshasa, you're insane. But before anyone could celebrate, the mine shaft collapsed. The fallen swallow team and the boss, the kobold foreman, fell screaming into the abyss. Once so proud, Guoluoyin was now battered and broken. The explosion had drawn every kobold in the mine toward the noise. Within moments, the remaining 2 members were surrounded. Western Hound panicked and teleported out with a random scroll. For the first time, Guoluoyin realized how fragile her wealth-born pride really was. As the kobolds lunged at her, a sudden wave of frost swept through, freezing every monster solid and saving her life by mere seconds. The one who struck just in time was one autumn leaf. Guoluoyin screamed from below, begging them to pull her up. Shen Mingdai grinned. Sure, I can help. Discount price, 5 million per person. If that sounds expensive, she added sweetly. Just remember, money's useless if you're dead. Cornered with no way out, Guoluoyin had no choice but to agree. Shen Mingdai smirked. Since Misk was being so generous, our service has to match the price. This rope costs 10 credits, but for you, 35 million. Totally worth it. 10 minutes later, Shen Mingdai's screen flashed. Payment received in full. Watching Guoluoyin grind her teeth in rage, Shen Mingdai felt utterly refreshed and silently thanked Rakshasa for setting up the perfect situation. Zhang Zhe then called out, Team, get ready to pick up the boss. Careful, he warned. It might summon nearby mobs for backup. Too many for us to handle head-on. Dragon King quickly came up with a plan. Rakshasa, you snipe from above. We'll drop down and draw aggro. With Giant God's defense aura, we can hold for a bit. As long as Rakshasa can shoot out those 10 candles on its head, we'll turn the tide. Taking aim, Zhangze unleashed 2 arrows at once. One candle was snuffed out, but it also enraged the boss. The kobold foreman raised his chain pickaxe, deflecting the second arrow midair. Zhangze's eyes widened. The boss was protecting its own weak point. Below, one autumn leaf cast frozen rain, locking the boss in place. Lu Yueying followed up with Blade of Light, slicing through the frozen kobold minions. The next instant, the boss hurled a bundle of dynamite. A direct hit would deal massive damage and stun anyone caught in the blast. Luckily, one of Zhangze's arrows struck mid-throw, detonating the explosives in the air before they could land. Lu Yueying, drenched in sweat, gasped, "Rakshasa, you saved me again." Zhangze summoned the devouring frog, using its flames to conceal his next shot. Unfortunately, the boss's resistance was sky-high, only 660 damage per hit. Still, if he kept this up, victory wasn't impossible. The next second, the kobold foreman hurled 2 bundles of dynamite in quick succession. One flew straight toward Zhangze, while the other detonated right between Dragon King and Lu Yueying, flames roaring outward. Giant God immediately shielded Shinmeng Dai, their only healer. But the boss wasn't done. It pulled out 2 more bundles. "Wait, no cooldowns!" Zhangze shouted. Taking the chance, he fired a perfect shot, snuffing out one of the candles on its head. The boss's vision dimmed again. Shinmeng Dai cast Green Blessing, restoring Lu Yueying's HP. Yueying seized the moment. Her Blade of Light struck the weak point, dealing twice her usual damage. Dragon King's critical hit followed, stunning the boss. Meanwhile, the devouring frog's fireball was ready. Zhangze loosed a flurry of arrows through the flames. The combined strike slammed into the kobold foreman, the team's strongest hit yet. But just as the boss's HP hit 0, its body began to glow red-hot. Giant God's eyes widened. No, he's going to self-destruct. In such a confined space, the blast would wipe out their mage and healer instantly. Without hesitation, Giant God charged forward, using his massive shield and body to pin the boss against the wall. Shinmeng Dai barely had time to raise her hand. No chance to heal. Boom! A blinding explosion shook the cavern. The shockwave melted the stone around them. Even Giant God's immense defense might not be enough. Zhangze leapt down without thinking, only to find the entire cave shrouded in smoke. Dragon King fell to his knees before the battered shield. "Boss, you idiot! Why'd you do that?" Then, the wall cracked open, and a hand pushed through. "Don't start crying yet. He's still alive." The team rushed over, shouting with relief. Giant God smiled weakly. "Didn't die, but my gear's dust. Check what the boss dropped." As the kobold foreman's body dissolved into light, hundreds of high-grade soul orbs glittered across the ground. Alongside a rare black steel crystal, worth 6 figures, rarer than winning the lottery. Ever the money lover, Shinmeng Dai immediately handed the black steel crystal to Giant God. "If you hadn't risked your life for us, one autumn leaf, and I would have been blown to bits." Zhangze nodded. "Yeah, take it, big guy. You've earned it. Use it to upgrade your gear." Giant God chuckled. All right, I won't argue. Once my armor's repaired, we're pushing into the 7th floor." After saving their progress, the team prepared to log off and rest. But before Zhangze could leave, Shinmeng Dai stopped him in the dark tunnel. "Rakshasa, meet me at the 6th floor altar in 30 minutes. Bring Dragon King. We're going to make some extra cash." Zhangze smiled. "Got it. I'll log off for now. See you in half an hour." Back in the real world, he thought his 10 million credits would be enough for some S-rank gear. But when he opened the Demon Domain marketplace, he froze. Even a pair of S-rank boots cost 300,000, and armor was 25 million. Still, those boots had a speed boost and 20% dodge rate. Considering he'd made 5 million off Little Bunny, spending 300 to keep her alive wasn't a bad deal. Then one listing caught his eye, an S-rank necklace that permanently increased talent effects by 10%. For most players, that bonus was nothing. But for Zhang Zai's SSSRank summoner skill, 10% meant summoning one extra monster. System message: you've purchased 2 items. They'll be equipped when you log back in. Checking the time, Zhang Zai teleported back into the game. Shen Mingdia's side hustle idea had him curious. What kind of scheme was she planning this time? The 6th floor's mine was loaded with reforging ore. The monsters had already dug out 10 full tons. If they could haul it all out, they'd be rich enough to buy a full S-rank set. But in Demon Domain, carry weight depended on strength stats. Dragon King said 1 sack weighed 2,000 pounds. No one could carry that alone. Zhang Zai's strength stat was 16, enough to carry a ton at most, about 60 or chunks. Shen Mingdai, being a healer, could only lift 18. Dragon King, though a warrior, wasn't as strong as Zhang Zai and could take 50. That much weight slowed them to a crawl. The mine was still crawling with kobold workers, so Zhang Zai had to lure them away with his bow, while Dragon King handled them one by one. After an hour of fighting, the 3 finally cleared out every monster in the mine. Shen Mingdai suggested, "Let's sell what we have for now. We can come back later to mine more." Moonlight Bunny grinned mysteriously. "Brother Zhang Zai, I've got a surprise for you later." When the 3 returned to the 6th floor altar, they overheard players offering to buy ore. But they only wanted black steel, or everything else was worthless to them. A knight descended for the upper floor and barked, "How many black steel pieces have you recovered? Young Master Chunfeng's been stuck on the 7th floor for days. If you delay his progress again, you'll lose your heads." The name Chunfeng made Zhang Zai pause. That arrogant brat. He'd met him before at the Cloud Peak Clubhouse. Shen Mingdai waved it off. "Forget them. We'll list ours on the marketplace and split the profits later." Just as Zhang Zai was about to log off, Bunny called out, placing a gleaming chunk of black steel right in front of him. "Little one, where did you get that?" Turns out, while they were fighting earlier, Bunny had used her pickpocket skill on a kobold miner. She expected to steal hair or rags, but somehow pulled out an entire black steel vein. "Since Rakshas is helping me reach the 30th floor someday, this ore's my gift to boost your power." Zhang Zai smiled and accepted the ore. Bunny logged off soon after. "Guess I owe her one," he muttered. "With this, or my S-rank weapon should level up beautifully." The next morning, Zhang Zai went to the hospital to find Dr. Yang, the man managing his sister's artificial kidney rental. "Dr. Yang, can I pay 7 million now to buy 1 kidney permanently and settle the rest next month?" Dr. Yang replied, "Next month we'll receive a new model. More advanced, but also more expensive." Zhang Zai nodded. "Then I'll wait. I want my sister to have the best." Suddenly, a burly man barged into the office. "Kid, I need to speak with the doctor alone." Dr. Yang patted Zhang Zai's shoulder. "Go on ahead. I'll contact you when I've got news." As Zhang Zai passed the bald man, he felt a strange, heavy pressure emanating from him. Once Zhang Zai was gone, the man murmured, "Headquarters sent word. Tonight, we make our move in Demon Domain." Outside, Zhang Zai walked in thought. "I need more money, and fast." He teleported straight back into Demon Domain, heading for the 7th floor. As soon as he logged in, he saw Uncle Lu and Lu Yuing crouched near the altar, faces grim. Something big had happened. "Uncle Lu, are you with the Demon Domain Administration too? What's going on here?" Dragon King answered first. "Some lunatic showed up, killing everyone he sees. He's insanely strong. More than 10 players are already dead." Zhang Zai was just about to log off when screams echoed from the altar entrance. The madman was slaughtering people in broad daylight. Anyone stepping out of the safe zone was instantly grabbed and killed. His ID fit him perfectly, Devil Smile. With one swift slash, a player's throat was cut. In Demon Domain, death meant real death in the real world. Moments later, Devil Smile used a random teleport scroll and vanished. Uncle Lu slammed his fist down. Dawn Guild dares to provoke the administration? They got guts. He drew his great sword and charged out of the altar. Lu Yuing followed immediately. Curious, Zhang Zai joined them. He wanted to see just how strong this so-called dawn really was. The three reached a fork in the tunnels. Fearing they'd get separated, they stuck together. Suddenly, a shadow darted behind them. A massive lizard-shaped beast appeared, but it wasn't native to the 7th floor. It was Devil Smile's beast form, a rare talent skill that transformed him, boosting all stats by 10%. The air froze. All three stopped moving. Uncle Lu stepped in front, shielding Zhang Zhe and Yueying. Then a barbarian giant spawned ahead, enormous, brutal, and deadly. Behind them, two more monsters emerged, one being an ogre titan. That one was the real nightmare. Its skill spell silence could completely block all talent abilities. Before they could react, the barbarian giant charged. Uncle Lu met it head-on. Zhang Zhe stayed back, firing arrows to chip away its HP. Uncle Lu used Shockwave, staggering the giant for 30 seconds and dealing massive damage. Yueying layered blades of light beneath its feet. Zhang Zhe summoned 4 wave callers to heal and support. With a second shockwave, the first barbarian giant fell with a ground-shaking thud. But the only path forward required defeating the remaining 2 giants. Zhang Zhe switched roles, turning into full healer mode so the swordsman could fight freely. Suddenly, the ogre roared, spell silence activated. Its target, the weakest one, Lu Yueying. That meant she'd be silenced for the next 180 seconds. Uncle Lu rushed forward again, using Shockwave to stall for time. Seconds ticked away. Yueying's silence still had 40 left. Then the ogre cast it again, another silence. No, Uncle Lu can't dodge in time. Zhang Zhe sprinted forward, throwing himself into the blast, taking the full silence wave head-on. Uncle Lu, you're our main DPS. You can't take a hit. Focus fire on the ogre titan now. No mistakes. Under Lu and Yueying's relentless assault, the frail ogre titan was shredded apart. It let out a muted roar before bursting into fragments of light, vanishing completely. Just one more barbarian giant, and we're through. But Zhang Zhe frowned. Wait, if monsters spawn here, how did Devil Smile get past? Uncle Lu's instincts flared. A lizard-like creature emerged from the stone wall. That's no normal mob. It's him. Uncle Lu shouted. A razor claw slashed across his chest. Over 1,000 critical damage. A chameleon. He's using camouflage to blend with the terrain. Zhang Zhe reacted instantly, summoning every creature from his summoned space. In a flash, the tunnel filled with his monsters. Devil Smile had planned to one-shot them, but when he saw Zhang Zhe's boss-level summons, his grin stiffened. The Devourer Toad launched blazing fireballs through the tunnel, one striking Devil Smile dead-on. Zhang Zhe fired a volley of arrows while the Butcher of Death swung his scythe. Devil Smile was forced to release his transformation. Smirking, he said, Rakshasa, interesting. Looks like you got lucky today. He pulled out a random teleport scroll. But remember this, Dawn's hunt won't stop. I'll be watching. Bye. With that, he vanished into thin air. No one could stop him. Uncle Lu exhaled heavily. Rakshasa, be careful. You've just made a powerful enemy. Let's head back to the altar and log out before things get worse. Meanwhile, Devil Smile opened team chat, exposing Zhang Zhe's secret. He's a summoner, he typed. The Dawn leader, First Light, replied immediately, do not act yet. If we spook him, it'll ruin our infiltration plan in Daxia. Back in the real world, Zhang Zhe froze. Tianfeng City was in chaos. Monsters from the demon domain had crossed over into reality. No, I can't use my summoner skills here. Without them, I'm just a normal human. It was a strange beast carrying a roast pig on a tray, the delivery giant. Oddly enough, it was the only key to open the boss gate. Players could only enter when it delivered food to the boss, and only one would spawn per day. The rule for the 7th floor raid was brutal. Only 3 players could challenge the boss at once. Many have been stuck here for years. Zhang Zhe grinned. Give me half a day. I'll get our team through. When the squad reached the boss area, it was packed with players. A man named Young Master Chun stood at the gate, flanked by an intimidating old swordsman. The old man's aura silenced the crowd. Today's raid belongs to the Chun family. Anyone who steps forward dies. Dragon King stepped out anyway. Then let's see if he can back that up. Clang. With one casual swing, the old man sent Dragon King flying. Foolish boy. Dragon King coughed blood, eyes wide. That one strike alone had injured him badly. The man's power was monstrous. Chun Feng smirked. This world's ruled by strength. You're weak. Learn your place. Zhang Zhe calmly said, I can't get us in, even without your permission. Right then, a delivery giant spawned nearby. The crowd froze, not daring to move, until an arrow whistled through the air, piercing straight into the creature's heart. You idiot! Chun Feng roared. If I can't reach the boss, no one can. Zhang Zhe met his glare. Then I'll kill this giant myself. Chun raised his hand to order retaliation, but the old man stopped him. After yesterday's dawn incident, the Bureau's still investigating. Another death would drag your family into it. Chun scoffed. Fine, then let's just wait. See how long this clown can last. Zhang Zhe smirked. Even if I kill this delivery giant, I'll still open the gate for everyone. Chun chuckled darkly. Show me then. Let's see your trick. Zhang Zhe drew his bow and fired straight into the creature's chest. The delivery giant collapsed instantly. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Chun Feng pointed at Zhang Zhe. Rakshasa, I'll remember that name. One day you'll be on your knees begging. Zhang Zhe replied calmly. Nobody leave. After we clear the boss, you'll get your chance too. Laughter erupted. You just killed the key monster, genius. It won't respawn till tomorrow. Even nearby players smirked, waiting for him to embarrass himself. Even Zhang Zhe's own teammates were confused. What was he planning? You forgot, Zhang Zhe said with a grin. I'm a summoner, and killing monsters means I can summon them. The new gear I bought free to summon slot. Rise, my delivery giant. The players stared in disbelief. He actually summoned it. Dragon King laughed. Bro, if you sell that trick, you'll make millions. Now, let's see if my summon can open the door. The summoned delivery giant lumbered to the gate, and the massive doors began to creak open. The crowd went silent. No way, he actually opened it. Is it even legal? The seven-man squad prepared for the first run. Zhang Zhe, Liu Yueying, and Dragon King would go first. The boss was called the twin-headed giant, 2 minds, 1 body, both deadly. Dragon King struck one head with a heavy blow, dealing over 500 crit damage. But his attack left him exposed. The giant sky-split axe came crashing down. Even with his mountain breaker staff blocking, Dragon King lost over 1,000 HP in one hit. Zhang Zhe's jaw tightened. This was the strongest boss he'd ever faced.